It's a brand new decade, and that means a brand new season of Rocket League action here. That's right, we're back with the LPL Pro Rocket League Oceanic Championship here for Season 9. And we are coming at you live, powered by the fizzing goodness of Barocca. And here we are again, Season 9. I'm Matt Smite Ross, and this year I'll be joined by Mr. Stephen Watson, who will be here, unlike my beard. And mate, the off-season, it was hectic, but we're finally back here in the hot seat. How does it feel? We're finally back for more action.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Biggest roster move has got to be you losing your beard. I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out without it. But yeah, all jokes aside, though, there has been some crazy roster moves. I'm sure we'll get into it as soon as the games get there and we get into the teams. But yeah, what a season we're going to have. And I mean, to top last season is a tall feat.
I mean, yeah, speaking of last season, right, let's take a look at that because we had a hectic playoffs, of course. I mean, we can take a look at the grand final match, which was Canberra Havoc taking on Renegades, with Renegades kind of crushing Havoc in the end. But that does not tell the story of the rest of the playoffs, right? 7-game series, overtimes galore, upsets everywhere. It was hectic.
It was crazy. I mean, the first day had the Renegades Chiefs game that went to overtime, and then after that, and the next day we had Canberra Havoc taking out and knocking out Chiefs from going to Worlds and going there themselves, a team that no one suspected to even be at playoffs, let alone come second. Final maybe a little bit more one-sided, but what a crazy finals it was.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps maybe they let their guard down, maybe just being a little bit content with making it to Worlds for a team that, you know, wasn't expected to be there. Of course, Renegades in their business as usual, making it top spot again, but let's move on. Let's move on to Season 9, where everyone's got a fresh start. We're taking the top 8 teams from our region, and they're going to be competing in a 7-week round robin. They'll play every other team at least once. And of course, after that, we'll be taking the top 4 teams. And just like last year, we're going to ship them off over to Auckland here with us, and they're going to be playing on land for those 2 spots, which will represent Oceania at the Season 9 Rocket League World Championship in Dallas, Texas.
Texas, baby. Everyone wants to make it there. I mean, there's the prize money on top of that, I'm sure we'll see soon, but everyone wants those playoff spots. That's what they're going to be fighting for.
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone wants those playoff spots, but this prize money, it's gone up. 25K in addition to last year, thanks to Psionics. So a lot of this is actually very top heavy. It's a $10,000 increase at first place alone. So if you're looking for that increase in pay, you're looking at getting all the way to the top of the table. Of course, we're also still keeping those player accolades, and a lot of those were really close last season.
Yeah, great to see Psionics back in the Oceanic region. And yeah, the player accolades, as you say, very close. The savior of the season was like 0.01 save off of another player getting it, so crazy.
Yeah, look, they're going to be hungry for those ones this year as well. So plenty of opportunities for the players and the teams. So, Stephen, speaking of the teams, we've got to talk about those because, like we said, we've got 8 teams coming in here, the best of the region. Of course, there's going to be a lot of familiar names, of course, familiar player names too, but some new team names. But let's kick it off with Renegades, of course. They've had a few changes as well. We'll mention all the roster changes in a few seconds, but of course, Canberra Havoc are coming up as well. Ground Zero, Mindfreak, and Overt are all also returning. Now, Max's Rancid Rats, their roster's returning, but they've just recently changed their name to Team Esper, so you'll see that on the broadcast from now on. And then just below, new additions, Cringe Society and Fury. Big eyes on Cringe Society especially.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one thing to point out, I mean, Chiefs, a big org, is absent this year, hasn't picked up a team, but I mean, Cringe Society looking like a strong team, great members, the only orgless team left. You know, I mean, we have to see if Chiefs do make their way back into the league. I think a lot of people are speculating it. But yeah, we'll get into the roster changes a bit later. There's some crazy, crazy news on that front.
Yeah, well, we're going to get our first look at all of the changes here in today's matches. We're going to kick things off with Overt versus Fury. Of course, Overt we saw last season. Fury, the new team, going to look to come in and really make a splash in their first opening match. Then after that, we'll have the very anticipated Cringe Society debut in the RLCS. And then they'll be taking on Max's Rancid Rats, which are actually Team Esper. So a tried and true roster taking on against the new upcoming roster, which is bound to make waves. Following that, we'll have Ground Zero taking on Canberra Havoc. Canberra Havoc, of course, making a great showing last season. Ground Zero, a bit of a grudge against those guys because they did kick them down to the lower bracket in the playoffs. And then finally, we'll have Renegades taking on Mindfreak in a bit of a David and Goliath matchup.
Yeah, I got to say, those middle matches are the ones that are sticking out for me. The Ground Zero Havoc kind of matchup there. Ground Zero trying to get back a bit of revenge for how playoffs went out last year, but I do want to see how Cringe Society plays and to get up tested by Team Esper now, a team that has played together for a full season. Want to see if they can start off strong.
Yeah, and of course, Team Esper, the only team to actually keep all members of their roster, even the sub, which is going to be real exciting to see, like you said. But of course, we've got to kick things off with our #1 match. And while we might be anticipating some of the later ones, this is still going to be a good one to see where teams are going to be standing. A lot of people are predicting both of these teams, Overt and Fury, to be perhaps somewhere around the middle of the pack. So this will get a good showing of where these teams are going to be standing. So that's it, Overt versus Fury. I mean, very quickly, what do you think about this matchup? I mean, how excited are you going to be for it?
Well, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, there's one member still on Overt from last season who is Misty, and Kenny Salmon, who was there, has also gone to Fury. So they're up against each other now. So you have to see which one gets the better of each other.
Yeah, well, speaking of their rosters, let's take a look at Overt first up. Like you said, of course, Misty is sticking around on this lineup, but the new members, Zen and Noizee. Noizee, of course, the namesake for the team they qualified under, which was Noizee Isnt Toxic. And then, of course, Zen. Big words to say about this guy.
Yeah, he was on Renegades only 2 seasons ago. I mean, they won that season as well. Was absent last season. A lot of people were saying where is he was playing in a different team, but he's finally got his return into the league. And Noizee, a rookie, will have to see if he can step up and see where this team can do it. I mean, big ceiling for this team, for sure.
And their opponents, Team Fury. Now, I've actually got these guys pinned as perhaps maybe a little bit of a dark horse later on. Amphis is a player I've had my eyes on for a while now that he's finally jumped off into the RLCS. His teammates, Kenny Salmon and Scarth as well, going to be lining up that roster.
Yeah, Kenny and Scarth, both from last season, returning players. Amphis, the rookie. Kenny and Scarth not having the best of showings last season. They had their moments, so maybe trying to redeem themselves for what played out in Season 8, but yeah, got to start off strong. And I mean, this is probably a pretty close matchup between the two teams. So both teams trying to get a good win under the belt in the first week.
Yeah, okay, so you say that it's going to be a close matchup, but I'm going to put you on the line right now and say, where are we looking at this match going? Is it going to be a real close one, or maybe just a real quick stomp, quick 3-0?
I don't know. I mean, it just depends on which team could start off strong. I mean, it's the first week of the season. There's still those nerves. Both teams have a rookie, in their team. So if they can come over those nerves of first playing in the RLCS, then maybe they could get the better of the matchup. But I'd like to see a Game 5. I'd like to see it real close. Games going back and forth. You can never know in Rocket League, though. It can go either way.
No, not at all. Of course, these teams are going to be looking to make a big splash here as the first match of the entire season. I mean, a lot of eyes are going to be on them, especially as they move on. I mean, it's nice to get one of the easier ones. Well, I mean, easier, right? I mean, but it's more like, at least you're not playing Renegades to start off with. At least you're not playing someone like Cringe Society, who a lot of people are really ranking very highly, right? You get in, it's potentially a very even matchup, right? So it's a great opportunity to test your skill and not have essentially what could be a stomp against you. But let's jump into the match. Let's jump into it right now. Overt versus Fury, the first match of the season.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get the nameplates and the timer up in a second. Just having a bit of technical difficulties there. There it is. But yeah, great to see us finally in our first game of Season 9 of the RLCS here in OCE.
And straight away, it's Fury just going by their namesake and getting aggressive right off the bat, kicking it right into the blue corner here, but finally Overt have managed to snag the ball a little bit. But Fury, I mean, they're pretty quick on taking it away from them.
Yeah, definitely. Neither team really getting good offense going here, just kind of ping-ponging it back and forth as we see Overt on the advance there. Nice little flick over Kenny Salmon there, getting into the corner, but it was cleaned up by his teammates. He tries to pass it up.
That's a great pass. And it is just immediately intercepted, but can he win the 50-50 here? There's not a lot of boost on Noizee. In fact, 0, so he won't be able to rush to grab that one. He does find some and takes a shot, and it's the first goal of the season into an open net.
Yeah, counter-attack there. All players from Fury just pushing up a bit too aggressively. And there it is, Misty finding the novice in Noizee and putting that one in. not even letting the nerves get to him there, just striking it straight and true.
All right, so that's 1 goal on the board right now for Fury. So let's see if they can continue it on. Of course, all of the overlay will be joining us in just a few moments as the ball reaches the goal thanks to Amphis.
And there it is, the other rookie on the other side. Neither of them letting get their nerves to them, but there it is, just a nice little dribble underneath them. Gets it on the ground there as well, puts it over Noizee. Beats 2 players to score that.
And so there we go. We're now tied apiece right now, and it's looking pretty good for both teams. The rookie's already a chance to show their skills right now, looking to shoot it over in front of the goal, but it is cleared away right now. Fury wanting to get this one away, but that's right into Noizee, who he thinks he wants to take a shot, but unfortunately doesn't go wide.
Yeah, didn't have enough gas in the tank there to do anything with it, so just kind of chipped it up for the defense to clear it. As we see a double touch attempt coming, but doesn't quite get it. Clearance comes through from Overt.
So Amphis, unfortunately the red team this time. I love his blue team colors. He's green, but he's looking for a shot all the way through the sky, but of course the defense is there. He's looking to rotate around to the defense, but no, he's looking for his moment. If he can find the 50-50 here, take a shot, but just goes a little bit too high.
Yeah, didn't get the read off the ceiling there, but I am liking what I'm seeing coming up from Amphis. I mean, just playing with such confidence in his first ever game here in RLCS, and just look at him, he's always in the air looking to strike the ball, always on the attack.
Amphis
Fury looks to get all the goals from.
Yeah, I mean, look, Amphis always plays with a ton of confidence, so I'm always excited to see what he can pull out. Misty as well, another player who can really pull out some pretty crazy plays just out of the blue, so we always have to keep an eye on him. So now we've slowed the game down a little bit. No goals for over a minute right now, so teams seem to get a bit of the flow going, but maybe I spoke too soon because Kenny Salmon, he rolls right up and finds his moment.
Yeah, there it is. Amphis not quite finding what he wants there, but Kenny Salmon just passing it to himself, hits it off the post and follows it up. I mean, both players from Overt kind of thinking the other one's going to get it and just caught flat-footed in there.
Yeah, look, who more reliable to pass to than yourself, right? You can just get the job done. So a great kickoff already right now by Overt. So let's see if they can just keep it in this orange half, but they're already kind of rushing back for a bit of defense.
Yeah, these teams that are sort of labeled the middle of the pack teams, the ones that are scrapping for those places there, and people not sure where to rank them. I mean, a lot of it comes down to kickoff goals and how they start off at the start of the game. So it's good to see both teams kind of getting the better of these kickoffs and not just letting easy goals slip through.
Okay.
See Kenny Salmon going up for the double touch. Doesn't quite get it. Falls down to Scarf though.
Oh, how is he going to hit this one and just hits it with the back of his car? Amphis would have loved to be able to turn around for that one, so they do keep it forward right now, but it is being pushed back by Overt. Can Noizee steal this one away? He gets a pretty good steal. Is looking to pass it midfield to take a shot, but it is disrupted a little bit. So good offense coming out from Overt so far.
Yeah, and look at that. Even Amphis just doing it by himself. Doesn't quite find the angle on the shot there, but he was just beating everyone and winning those 50s for his team. Yeah,
Amphis probably looking to be a little bit too tricky there on the goal, but it's those shots that will just sneak by, so he will be looking for a few of those. Again, Fury right up in front of the net, looking for those shots. Kenny Salmon sitting all the way back, looking to clear it to the mid. Where's the follow-up though? There it is, coming out just a little bit too high, but Kenny Salmon's still there again, off the top of the net. They just can't quite get it in at the ends here. Everyone's a little bit out of juice, so they're going to have to rush back for the defense, but very strong push coming out from Fury.
Kenny Salmon needed to put that away. It was almost an open net. There was a keeper there, but put it either side of him, he can't do anything there. Just hits the crossbar.
Okay, Noizee looking at the corner here, would love to get it to midfield, looking like a shot here. Nice, slow, patient play by Misty, a little bit to the left. He's got teammates though, but it's saved by Fury. They pushed it back forward, 50 seconds to go. Means if Fury can just hold on to this, they can take the first in the game.
Noizee did well though, they're just buying a little time for his team to get back. Just knocks it up to the side, keeps it in the air, keeps the ball going slow. Buys his team tight, but we see Zen there making a bit of a whiff, giving away possession for his team. There's 3 here on the offense, but it could go over Amphis. No, he collects it well. Just needs to buy a bit of time for his team to rotate here. Yeah, and you've got to watch out for Amphis as well, but the more he keeps it in the air, that's the less time that Overt have to send it into Fury's net, and they're looking for their perhaps final opportunity right now, as Zen is looking to go around, looking for the strike if he can find it, but can't get the angle, which means now Fury can just push it up the field. 10 seconds to go. They can't find the shot. Overt looking for a miracle here. Yeah, we have seen 0-second goals before though, and it's only one to take us to overtime. Zen takes it here, puts it up in the air, We see the combat coming up from Kenny Salmon there to try and knock it down. Still in the air. Misty keeping it up. Zen keeping it up himself. Can he get the other touch? Noizee does. Knocks it up. Is anyone there for the shot? Misty is, but hits the post.
Oh, wow. And that would have been a great play to bring us into overtime. But at the end of the day, you're keeping the ball in the air for probably about 20 seconds there. And eventually, you're just going to have to take an awkward shot instead of letting it go to the ground. Fury take game number 1 by 1 point in a close game.
A close game in terms of the score, but I would say Fury were on top of it. There was a few maybe open goals that should have gone through, so maybe the score should have been a bit better and put the game to bed a little earlier, but I like how they've started. I loved Amphis in that match. I mean, just playing with such confidence in his first ever game, was always in the air, always had boost, was just stealing it away and using it to good effect as well.
Yeah, look, Amphis, again, I'm just going to reiterate this. Keep your eyes on this guy because he's certainly looking to make some waves here in the season. Now, game number 1 for Fury, looking pretty good. I mean, let's talk about the momentum they're going to get from that, right? Because now, you know, they've just got to win 2 more. They're really putting the pump onto Overt right now and showing, hey, look, we're coming in as a new team. We're looking strong against the team that was here last season. For sure. I mean, getting that first game in the first game is just the best feeling you can ever do, and it helps you get that bit of momentum going in the series. So I have to see if they can carry it on. But I do think Overt have the potential to bounce back. I mean, Zen is such a tested player in this league as well. So definitely got the experience behind him to kind of shepherd his team to get some games over here. But we'll have to see how they come out in game number 2 for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's certainly a world where this could go all the way to a full series, all the way, because these teams are looking pretty even. Overt maybe just have to tidy things up a little bit, but I feel like after game number 1, both teams will be looking to do that as we kick off into game number 2 here, and we're sitting over in Fury's side of the field.
Yeah, I think what Overt need to be looking to do is try and shut down Amphis, and it's going to be harder.
I mean, that's easier
said than done for sure, but I mean, just stopping them, getting the boost, trying to secure their own back boost and not letting them just get strangled in their own half and try and do something when they get out here. It's a good win there in midfield to keep possession, but again, there's just no one there to follow it up. Yeah, I mean, another way to shut down Amphis is just be really aggressive. Keep him on the defense, because Amphis is fantastic when he gets to fly through the sky and send the twirly-whirlies into the net, but when he's on the defense, I mean, he's still fine, but he doesn't have that star power that we see him from on his attack. But here we go, sitting in front of the Fury net. It's over, looking for a shot, but oh my gosh, Kenny Salmon, it just rolls right by him. Yeah, this is great from Misty. Tries to get the shot there, but just doesn't get the angle, but then carries on, lands on the wall perfectly, passes it off to Noizee, who just strikes that home. That was a great play from Misty. That's a great setup. I mean, especially after the fact. You take a shot, cool, it doesn't work, but you can set it up for the rest of your team. So Overt to a strong start here, and that's what I like. I like seeing that attack. Yeah, we see Amphis going for these ceiling shots again and again, wanting to kind of make a name for himself in this first game. But as you said, I mean, if Overt really want to shut him out, they just need to keep him on the defense. He does like to use a lot of boost when he's back there, so the more you can get out of his tank there, the less he's going to have when he's on the offense. Good win by Misty here to keep possession there, but gets snatched away by Kenny Salmon as Fury starts the offense. Yeah, and if Amphis is something that Overt have to worry about, Misty is something that Fury have to worry about, because he can make those beautiful little plays that kind of come out of nowhere, and again, on the offense. So if you keep him on the defense, then it's not so bad, but here we see a setup coming up from Noizee, moving over to the midfield. One more shot could do it, but they've got to send it over to the midfield once more. But Amphis has found his moment. He sees a net with only one defender in front of it, and so he rushes over towards it, looking to get the setup from his team, but he has to rush back to the rotation. Yeah, and Scarf missing the shot there. The pass from Kenny Salmon was maybe a bit too far, had to stretch for it, and couldn't quite find the angle. Yeah, good play coming out from Fury there. You saw Amphis got the 50 win and then immediately went from looking for demos and bumps. Yeah, very, very aggressive player, and you can just see it only in 1.5 games so far. Now, up the field in front of Fury's net, Noizee looking to steal it away, but he can't do it, which means the rest of his team will be looking to get back. But they managed to clear it back towards the Fury net. Misty setting it up for Noizee, but where's Noizee? Now Scar's going to be rushing off to try and send this one over to the net. Everyone playing very slow around that ball. Yeah, zero boost there on Scar, so he couldn't quite attack it how he wanted to. Just waiting for that mid boost to spawn and then just get snatched away by Overt. Wasted a lot of time as well, so the counter-attack got straight away snuffed out by himself. And Misty still getting it past, even with the demo on his own team, keeping it forward a little bit. I mean, Overt at 1 point up, they're in that comfortable lead where
You don't have to do anything too crazy, but now you do because Amphis finds his moments.
Yeah, and this was just Fury winning everything in the air. They're so quick to reach these balls. I mean, Overt just not matching the speed of the game there, and Amphis just finding the angle, sneaks it past Noizee to the right corner there.
And they're doing really fun little steals as well. They're smashing it down to the ground and just right out of your hands when you're not really expecting it, from angles you don't really expect either. So now with that evened up, 2 minutes to go, I mean, this is super close, this series, and I'm loving it. So Noizee looking to change that by finding a way to get that ball in the net right now, but it looks like Fury have managed to steal it away, keeping possession. The steals away, but a good push means that Overt may take control.
There's no way that he was going to dunk on Amphis there. He had so much control, even when it looks like he doesn't. Tries to go for the flick there, but a little too early, and Misty clears it up.
On Amphis, still finding the demo. Maybe he can get his teammate a little bit of a goal here, but they buy the time enough to get the player up, and now moving forward towards the goal. Kenny Salmon will just look to steal away, but no, there's Noizee pushing it away from them. Zen in the back as well. Where's the third member to get that one in? Unfortunately, it's just going to stick around in the corner there.
Yeah, just the pass not coming out from over there. Just every second ball is just getting won by Fury. There's no one really following it up, and so nothing dangerous is really happening with it on the Overt side. But I mean, all it takes is one mistake coming up from Fury, one whiff, and you're on net.
Oh, Zen is stalking the bushes. He's waiting for his moment, but his moment never comes, so he's going to have to rush back for the defense. And his moment instead is just going to be looking to clear, and he can't even do that, and his Fury steals it away.
Here's Misty. Surely has boosts in the tank to do something with this, but doesn't quite get under the ball to get the flip and loses possession. But it is snatched up by Zen at halfway, and again, Misty wins it here.
And we're keeping it in front of the Fury net again. Fury are just kind of pushing it to the side, waiting to find a moment to get it over with possession as well. Noizee going to be rushing through, but so is his teammate as well. Zen setting it up in front of the net. Can we see Overt steal it away? If they can, then maybe they can take a really good shot in the last 20 seconds. This is dangerous. Secure it. This is dangerous. They've got another shot here, and there it goes, and you can just see it in almost slow motion as Zen gets the second very important goal on the board.
Yeah, this is good from Noizee here to not go for the shot and just set it up for his teammate. Bait a few of the keepers out, and then Zen just hitting the post, knocking it, the crossbar, sorry, and knocking it down. Putting the 2-1 lead in the second game, could clinch this game with 16 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, and Amphis is kind of hanging out in the goal instead of blocking it, unfortunately. So now Fury, they've got to find something in these last 10 seconds. We saw a very long 0-second duration in game number 1. Let's see if it can happen again here. But it goes into the net, and Overt shut that door.
Yeah, great shot by Zen here, but I've got to give credit to Noizee, just being a menace in that corner, keeping it there, putting the pressure on Kenny, so he had to go for it and ends up whiffing it and leaving the space open for Zen.
And look, I think Overt have found their magic, have found their plan, which is, like we were saying, keep Fury on the defense. Because, I mean, their team as a whole, but Amphis loses a lot of his strength, can't pull out all those magical plays, all that star power that we love to see from his aggressive plays, and it's working out for Overt.
And I've got to say, out of these two teams, the two players that are kind of showing up have got to be the rookies. I mean, Noizee for me is the one setting up these goals. I mean, Zen, got the 2 goals, but both set up by Noizee. And then Amphis, on the other hand, is just so dangerous when he gets it in the air. So, man, it's crazy to see these players play with such confidence in their first match.
On the flip side, though, I think on Overt, you're actually still getting star power out of the other two. You're getting Noizee and Zen are showing up a lot as well. Whereas for Kenny Salmon and Scarth over on Fury, I mean, look, they're doing their job. But nothing incredible is coming out right now. It's nothing that's saying, look, these guys are going to win the game because of them. Like we're seeing from Amphis, like we're seeing from pretty much every other member on the map right now. So we do tie up the series in a close matchup in this first series of, well, the entire decade.
I do want to touch on the players you were talking about, Kenny and Scarth. I mean, there's been a lot of whiffs coming out from them. Maybe the nerves is true to them, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy that Amphis, the rookie, is the one kind of leading the charge here.
I kind of called it, man. Look, if anyone's going to show up, Amphis is going to be there.
I never doubted you. But yeah, I mean, Kenny was kind of known to whiff it quite a bit last season, so was in one of those teams that was lower down the bracket. I do want to see him kind of solidify his place by being a bit more of a rock at the back. We'll have to see what he can do in this rest of the series.
Off to a strong kickoff here. Overt goes forward, and Misty going to go through the sky. Got to watch out for that guy, but he doesn't get the 50-50, which means Fury can breathe a sigh of relief, or can they? Because Zen pushes it forward again.
Every time I see Amphis on the ball, he just somehow gets around a player, even when it seems like there's no odds he will. And winning 50-50s like that, setting it up for Scarf, but couldn't quite find the angle under the defender there.
I mean, he's still got it forward quite well and is buying a lot of time. I mean, look at the defenders. They're all just jumping all over the place. Eventually, if the rest of Fury can get up here, they may find a good moment. But I don't think Fury were able to steal too much boost, so Overt actually do manage to recover from that.
Yeah, get a little bit of an offense there, but nothing too serious coming out from them. Didn't have the boost, as you say, so couldn't quite put the pressure on. But the shot from midfield coming from Misty, easily cleaned up by Kenny. Doesn't whip that one.
Going to go for the contest again, but Fury holds on to it for now, but it is still in their side of the field. Misty actually pushing it and forcing Fury to go for a very long clear into the hands of Noizee, but Amphis finds it and just rolls on through everyone, and Amphis just finds it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was Kenny that put that one away. I don't know how this actually was a goal. I mean, there was 3 players back, and not one of them was in net. It's crazy. Missed rotation from Overt. Yeah, I've got nothing to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they were just rushing on their way back, and unfortunately for them, Fury did find that window. So off to a strong start here. But of course, you're going to have to maybe increase that lead. We've seen Overt put out some pretty good performances in the last game against Fury. So 1-goal lead might not be enough.
Good start from Fury here, though. They are coming out of the gate strong in this game number 3. Like what they're doing on the offense, but on defense, they're still looking a bit shaky, as you can see here. Just letting a little bit too much time on the ball to Overt, as Noizee just tips that one under the bar.
And Overt just took their time on that one. I mean, you can't really see it in the replay, but they dribbled it all the way up the field through multiple members. I mean, passing it through the sky. It was actually really nice to watch. I mean, bouncing it over the heads of the defenders on Fury as well. Really great play from Overt to even it up.
Yeah, all 3 players linked in that passing play as well, with Noizee finishing it there. But I think that's the difference between these 2 teams, is Overt are looking more like a team, like a unit. They get up together, whereas Fury, it seems like they send Amphis up to do a bit of magic, and then they'll follow up the scraps. But I mean, that's how this is working out, defense versus offense, so yeah.
Oh, that's a good clear by Noizee, sending it up, and he's actually going to go over and chase it too with Zen. Misty wants to grab that one as well, but unfortunately it does go back over to the Overt side of the field. Neither team really holding on to the control yet though, so we get to see a really solid attack coming out from either side.
Misty beating 2 in the double fake there. Noizee just a bit too wide for him to get the angle. Does pop it up though, this will waterfall down. Little clearance from Fury there, but not enough as Kenny Salmon powers through to get it out of there.
And the pass over to Noizee as well is going to send it over to the side, but they don't have anything to get the clear into the center, so we're just going to have to wait for Zen to be in position. Takes a shot, but it is safe. That doesn't mean it's done just yet, though. As you can see, Noizee again waiting in the wings. Zen back on the defense. They keep it over to Fury side of the field.
That was great from Zen there. He was the last man, had to buy some time and bought a lot of it. I mean, just pretty much kept his team on the offense as well. Just one man just beating all 3 and keeping it there.
And it's still keeping on the attack right now. Finally, Fury get a bit of a better clear here, but it's still coming back to their side every few seconds. So this one will stick around the blue side for a little while longer, but as we know, Overt are great at pushing it forward. Misty loves soaring through the air with those air plays. We'll keep it there for a little while. Noizee looking for his moments, but Fury take it away.
Yeah, Misty had to use quite a lot of boost to get up there and keep possession, so by the time he did get it, it was out of boost, but there it is, Amphis just from halfway. I think it was Kenny Salmon looking for that demo that forced him into the air there and let the space open up for Amphis to just knock this onto the right side. Misty had no chance of getting there.
Oh man, and it was so close to being blocked by Noizee as well. He could basically smell the ball as it went right past his nose, and so Fury take the lead on that one, and they're looking to keep it strong on the defense as a good kickoff comes out from Zen, but where's his team to secure that goal?
Scott knocking it out there. Kenny Salmon picking up in the midfield, but didn't quite get the head he wanted here as we see a bit of space open up. Is that a shot? And it's in. I think Zen was the actual one that scored that there, but Misty passing it off to him. I thought he might have got the last touch of the game.
Yeah, well, Misty was super disruptive in that one, pushing Amphis. I mean, actually, Amphis wasn't even there in time anyway, so Zen off the back of that pass, actually found the shot. And now we're evened up once more in such an even series. So back off onto the kickoff. Can Overt get that teamwork going to send this one into the goal again?
We called this a game 5, and it's looking like it's going to. Not only is it back-to-back games, it's back-to-back goals as well. Either team just creeping a lead and then losing it pretty quickly afterwards. As we see the shot coming out there, but good block from Misty. Still the pressure's on. Scarth puts the shot. Misty can't clear it that time. And there it is, Fury taking the lead again. But a minute to go, we could see Overt tied up.
Yeah, well, I mean, Fury just had so much time to get into position, be disruptive against Overt, and just get the greatest position for the third shot onto the goal as it goes a little bit wide on the second one there. But the all-important third goal, putting them in the lead, means that all the pressure's now off.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of panic coming out of Overt. A lot of double commits in the post near the goal there, but that one rolls dangerously across. Noizee just collects it, says thank you very much, not even close.
That one is sitting pretty close here. Amphis, if there's ever a moment for him to seal the deal here, it's going to be now. He has a little bit of boost, but not too much to go into the sky. And again, maybe he doesn't want to go for anything too crazy because his team is in the lead in front of their net. Takes the shot, but just to the left means it won't go in. And now Fury still trying to hold this one out, still saving it. It is just bouncing in front of the net.
How has Overt not scored there? I think it was Zen had 2 shots, open net. All the defenders were just scrambling. And I thought they had gone into the other side. This is back and forth.
Don't hold your breath. It could still go in. 10 seconds to go. Overt, they've got to find something here. There's still a few moments they can keep it in the air. We've seen them do it before, but Amphis, he's saying, stay on the ground ball. Gravity, do your job, and that's what it does. Fury, move on to match points.
Wow, what an ending to that match there. Could have gone either way. Could have been Fury just closing it out, but kept it pretty clean. And I mean, near the end, even with the panic, managed to keep in the head. And there it is, 3-2 in that match. All of them on the board with a goal there.
And Overt, they've got to be kicking themselves a little bit at the end there. They had an opportunity to even it up and at least go to overtime. But now because of that, in this close series, Fury now on match points. So you've got to come back from that. You can't let your morale affect the next round because, of course, you know, even though that was a tough one to lose, you've still got to come back to this one to maybe make the sweep, maybe come back and take it to game 5.
Yeah, it was Zen there at the end there that missed the open nets, I'll call them. So, I mean, if there was ever a player that you wanted to bounce back and have that the mental strength to kind of bounce back from such a tilting thing, it would be Zen. I mean, he's been in this position before. I think the last season he was in, they were down 3 games in one of the finals, and they came back and won that series. So is great at bouncing back. We'll have to see if he can do this and coming into game 4. But should have gone into overtime.
Yeah, and I mean, we keep talking up Overt about how they're looking great as a team and even finding some weaknesses in Fury. But Fury's, I've got to say, the star power is looking really good right now. I mean, Amphis, he had his moments in the first few games, but now finally we're seeing Kenny Salmon and Scarth also find their moments a little bit too. Maybe perhaps not the crazy highlight plays or anything, but just getting the solid passes and, importantly, the defense, right? Fury looked great on defense in that game.
But I do think if Overt can just find that the composure in front of net, then they should be winning this series with ease. But they just constantly not doubting themselves maybe and just missing that final shot. A lot of them easy goals as well.
Can't be missing those easy goals here. Northern game number 4 here with Fury on match points. Noizee, he's playing real defensive, sitting super far back here, not wanting to let one in at the moment.
Yeah, gave a lot of respect to Kenny Salmon there, and thinking that he's going to get beat. He was the last man. And there we see a miss coming out from Misty there. Noizee trying to take it up, but does get beat by Kenny Salmon at midfield. Scarth trying to win it, but Zen just cleans it up.
Yeah, looked like Fury wanted to pull the trigger on that one, but pulled out at the last second. So now they're going to be on the defense once more. They looked great on defense in game number 3 and almost won them the game as well. So see if they can pull it off again. Overt, no slouches when they can find the goals, find that attack, find that rotation.
And the 50s coming out for Overt here, keeping them on the offense. You can see they're winning almost everyone, keeping possession of the ball. As we see here, Noizee with the shot, but hits the post. But again, it gets snatched up in midfield. They're not allowed out of their half. Kenny will try and clear it, but it just goes as far as Noizee. He passes it down to Zen, who couldn't quite reach it. Scarth gets it up, coming back.
And Overt are just forcing these awkward clears that just end up right in front of their net, and it's always so risky, but finally they get a good one. Finally they get it over to the blue side, but Overt is still pushing it forward, and Noizee, oh man, he is still respecting A lot of the players here not just sitting a little further forward. Zen gets demoed, which means maybe Fury can find a moment here, but plenty of members there to defend, even if a few of them go for the same ball.
Yeah, Misty with a good save there, though. Probably didn't need it because Noizee was sitting in net, but it does help when your kind of midfield players come back to help in the defense there.
But it is that sort of thing that can bite that team later on in a slightly different moment. So we'll see if it happens again. But for now, it's still no goals right now. Kenny Salmon and the rest of Fury are looking to change that as it moves towards the Overt goal, but a good save does come out from Overt, so they keep it alive for now.
Yeah, Noizee winning that 50-50 there, tries to keep the attack going, but is cleared. Zen picks it up in the midfield to knock it into the corner, but no one to really follow it up again. Misty winning these 50s for Overt.
I mean, he wins it, but he does still send it over to Fury, who sends it to Amphis, who sends it to the net.
What a goal. I did not see this coming at all. Kenny Salmon just knocks it, finds his player up there, just kind of goose guarding the goal to get that, but knocks it into the top right. Fantastic goal coming out from Amphis.
And that's a major heads-up play, because Amphis had already had the ball taken away from him, but Fury must have called out like, look, hey, I'm going to get the ball, I'm going to send it over to you. And Amphis stayed in position and allowed for a pretty impressive looking long-range goal.
And with half the time of game 4 coming and going, and Fury just taking the lead, this could be them sealing it 3-1, but we have seen these games just go back and forth with goals, so we could see an Overt goal coming up pretty soon.
Well, we're going to have to start it. I mean, the games that they've won, they've got a lot of the earlier goals and kept an early lead, so that's not the case in this game, and so they should be looking for these goals as soon as they can. A big demo there onto Noizee means that that net is wide open.
Yeah, Noizee getting demoed there, but I've got to say, Misty just completely whiffs it on the wall, misreads it, and leaves so much space to Sky. He's not missing that at all. Puts it in dead center of the goal.
Doesn't get any more accurate than that one. And so, 2-0 lead here, and things are looking grim for Overt. They've got 2 minutes to find at least 2 more goals onto the field right here to just go into overtime. And so, they're still on the defense here, and this is not where they want to be. They want to get this ball rolling over into Fury's net and not constantly play goalie.
Yeah, Amphis just hitting the post as well. Could have been 3-0, and that surely would have been the game to bed, but leaving the door open for Overt here as they're now on the attack. Noizee will pick it up on the left side. Tries to get the pass or shot. Not sure which one he was going for.
Well, in any case, it stays out of the net. Overt still on the defense again. This is not where they want to be. Finally, they get it over, but straight away, multiple members of Fury try to push it away, go for the contest. So Amphis looking to hold the door here, and easy as pie does just that.
Yeah, good read there on Zen. Could have been beaten in net. Oh, and a great save coming back in the rotation off the wall. Scarf now collecting this, taking it halfway. Can he find the pass or the shot? Does get the 50 and dunks on him. That's 3-0 to Fury. That's got to be the series.
Yeah, 3 members in my way. Who cares? No problem at all as he just goes right through the air. Noizee, I'll just double tap off your mate. Don't worry. Into the net, and that, like you said, has got to seal the deal.
Top bins as well. That's nice. He's going to say he planned that fully, but did get maybe the luck of the 50 there.
Well, it works out for him, and now it gives Overt an impossible task here. It's essentially just running down the clock right now. Fury are happy to do just that. But Overt, they've got to kick things up, but now it is very impossible to come back.
Where's this Fury come from? They've just turned on the heat. All the other games so close back and forth, but they've just gone, nah, stuff it. We're just going to dominate them in this game. Even with a 3-0 lead, still going in the offense, all 3 players in the final third.
And the 50s are just looking so good right now for Fury. They're just stealing it away from everyone, and they're getting it to the players that are just always in position and Overt not expecting it. So right now, we're basically just running down the clock here for Fury to win the series, but let's see what else they can pull out. Maybe perhaps we'll get a few more goals. Sometimes it happens when there's such a big lead that the losing team just almost loses all hope. But as it rolls on down to the blue side of the field, can Amphis steal it away? He does push them away. But Misty looking to just send it by, but 30 seconds to go. You've got to say, this one's in the bag for Fury.
Definitely looking like it, and I've got to say, Amphis has been on form in his first game. I would give him MVP for sure. Just
easily.
Looking so dominant in the air, so dominant in the ball. Every time he's got 100 boosts in his tank, there's 5 there. I'll just skip over it. We know what's happening. We know they've won. Kenny Salmon just wins that. Zen couldn't get the clearance. But yeah, Amphis for me has been exceptional in his first game.
And just as a whole, I mean, what a great entrance for Fury into their first game of the season, their first season as well. I mean, look, It was a little bit shaky in the first few games. They had a few moments, but once they got their rotations rolling, once they found the ways to get it to Amphis from all corners of the map, they looked magic. And there's number 6, by the way.
6-0. Not a scoreline I would have predicted at all for this series. And I mean, in game number 4, when I thought Overt were going to start switching it on as well, well, I mean, I've got to say, Zen didn't quite have the performance I was hoping he would have coming back into the league. It is a bit of a rock. He's not that kind of star performance player, but yeah, a little disappointed.
I mean, sure, but Fury come in looking great. And Amphis, look, I've got to say, yeah, like you said, MVP, a great first showing. And, you know, how fantastic for him as well to come in and his first match gets MVP. Like, how incredible for the kid.
This whole series was the battle of the rookies for me. I mean, Amphis and Noizee both looking strong in the games that Overt did win, or the one game, sorry, they didn't win 2. He was looking strong, and even in the games that they lost, but that last game was so dominant from Fury.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, all they need to care about is getting the win of the series. Doesn't matter if it's close, because a win is a win, and that moves you up the leaderboard after game number 1. So your MVP, Amphis, let's talk about him again. This guy just, you know, I've watched a lot of him outside of RLCS, and I've always been very, very impressed by him. But yeah, it's got to be Amphis here is my MVP.
And there was the homepage. You forgot what it looks like if you haven't played Rocket League in a while. But yeah, Amphis for sure. I mean, every time he had the ball with 100 boost, you knew he was going to try and do something magical. We see a lot of rookies who just try and sit into a team, play defensively, try and pass the ball off to his players. But he just went, nah, I'm going for it. He was going for ceiling shots. He was going for flip resets. Insane.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll never talk down about his defense again. It looked great in the later games as well, and he had a really good save near the end as well. So, to be honest, keeping on the defense might not always work in the future. But guys, that is it for game number 1. We do have 3 more matches coming up, and right after this break, it's the big one. It's going to be Cringe Society taking on Team Esper.
This is just clinical. Yes! Let's all strategize. Get the ball here.
Beep, 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 a rocket gives you that. Beep, beep,
Need a ride? Thanks to Ola and Let's Play Live, we are hooking you up. Simply apply the code on screen to get your first ride free. T's and C's apply.
すみません、そこで止まってください。
いいじゃないか。Good to see you too.
Thanks, Lee.
This is just clinical.
Welcome back, everyone, to the LPL Pro Rocket League ANZ Oceanic Championship. we've just had a game. Number one with Fury taking out Overt with a score of 3-1. And it was very, very impressive. But moving on, let's talk about this match because everyone wants to see it. Everyone wants to see this new team in action. It's Cringe Society taking on Team Esper, previously known as Max's Rancid Rats, the only team to retain their roster. So we've got a bit of a fun little mix-up here. We've got what could potentially be called a super team taking on a roster that's stuck together for over a year.
Definitely Cringe Society looking like they could be a powerhouse in this league. Got 3 players that have been very dominant, all have a very good skill ceiling, the potential that they could hit. I mean, we'll go through the rosters soon. I mean, one of them was part of the team that won last year and for some reason has been dropped down. I don't know whether he left or was kicked out for CJ to come in the Renegades. But yeah, I mean, maybe he's out for a bit of vengeance as well, put a super team together and man, I cannot wait to see this team play. And up against a team that was all together from last year, so a bit of experience under their belt for sure. So it's a good test for the first match.
Yeah, and Team Esper, back last year when they were Max's Rancid Rats, they were close to making it to playoffs. I mean, a lot of people rated them a little bit lower than that, didn't expect them to make it all the way to potentially playoffs. So the fact that they made it that close was pretty great. So moving into the next year, keeping the same roster, keeping that experience and keeping that synergy, that's going to be their biggest strength coming in. And I mean, they've got a very hard matchup coming up against them to test that. But Cringe Society, you know what? I'm excited to see them as well. So that's going to be the match. Cringe Society versus Max's Rancid Rats, but actually Team Esper.
Yeah, I've got to say though, I mean, Cringe Society is a team that I've been looking forward to seeing play for a while. One of my favorite players from Havoc last season, Spidoge, is in this, and I think he was a player that didn't do too well in Season 7 and they didn't get a single win, then makes it all the way into second place in World Finals and now is on this new team with 2 players that are very experienced in this league as well, so the ceiling is high for them.
Well, we've hyped them up a whole lot. Let's take a look at the roster for Cringe Society. It's Torsos, Spidoge, and Drippe. Now, I believe every single one of those members earned an MVP last year.
I think so. I think you might be right. I mean, Torsos was great on the Renegades. I had nothing bad to say about him.
Very consistent player.
Yeah, for sure. Spidoge, I think it's just supposed to be D-O-G-E, not Dodge. But yeah, great player as well. I mean, has a lot of hours on the game. I can't remember the exact number, but has probably the most hours of this league. And then Drippe as well was a player that returned to league last season, but didn't quite live up to the hype. Looking to kind of get his name back to the top. Yeah, there was a lot of hype for him when he returned to the Chiefs last year, but now coming in, now on Cringe Society, again, a team that everyone's looking forward to. So he can't avoid the hype. Everyone's really excited to see him play, but their opponents, Max's Rancid Rats, but actually Team Esper, it's Delusion, Frenzy, and Steve. We recognize these guys from last year. Of course, these guys had some very exciting matches, some very fun moments, but fell just short of the playoffs. I'm going to say Delusion was one of the players that I had my eye on the whole season, last season. Pulled out some amazing moments. I can still remember his double fake, and I think like week 2 or week 1, it was insane. So looking for more of that. And I mean, this is a team that's got that experience and that synergy together of playing. I mean, a whole season playing together does really help when you're going into the next season. So we'll have to see if they can finally clinch that top 4 place. I mean, Season 7 and beyond before that, I mean, this was players that usually do make those top 4, so it was surprising to not see them there.
Okay, so the question on everyone's mind right now is going to be, how on earth are Team Esper going to take on Cringe Society right now? Because, I mean, you put the players up one against each other, it's not looking good for them, so what do?
Well, that's it. They play as a team, play to their strength. You've got that experience under your belt. You know where each other are going to be. The communication should be good now. You've had a whole season, so I want to see these passing plays. I want to see no double commits or anything like that. I want to see the communication come through in this game. And, I mean, we do have been hyping up Cringe Society for a while, and I mean, they can live up to this big expectation, but it is the first game. We could see a little bit of nerves. There is quite a lot of pressure on them because of these expectations, so we could see them crumble in their first game. And if Esper, I was about to say, the Rats could capitalize on that kind of pressure that they're under, then we could see them take an early win in the season.
Yeah, and I think that is probably Team Esper's biggest strength is just their consistent play. I mean, occasionally they'll have some whiffs, occasionally they'll have some drops, but overall throughout a series, they'll generally play at the same kind of results level. I mean, for better or for worse, right? I mean, when you're playing against a team that is, like Cringe Society, consistent may not be good enough. So do they need to bring out some kind of extra play, some kind of risky plays to maybe find that chink in the armor?
I'm not sure, because I just don't know how Cringe are going to play. I don't know how it's going to look out. Don't know how their rotation or how their style of play is going to be, whether they're going to kind of match that Renegades aggression or if they're going to think maybe more defensively, like how Havoc played last season. So we just have to kind of see what they do. They all have the talent. They all have the mechanics. So any one of them could pop off. So for Rats, they just need to be solid. Be solid at the back. Don't make any whiffs. Try and keep your mistakes low and not get capitalized on those mistakes. And you could see yourself winning like a 2-3-0 maybe if you're lucky in these matches and try and clinch the series. But I've got to say, even this one's looking close for me.
Yeah, and another thing as well, right, is with this new team on Cringe Society, you've got Spidoge and you've got Drippe. Both players like to steal the show. They like to show off and they like to go through the air and go for crazy aerials. So now you've got two people that want to do that. How do you balance that? I mean, is there maybe going to be a little bit of conflict between the players? Maybe they both want to do it?
It's simple. Torsos. Just put him at the back there. He's a solid player. He can clean up. He can buy you time in the rotations. I mean, if he can play well, this team will come together. I think he is the key factor. There is whether or not Spidoge and Drippe can pop off. But, I mean, if you've got a rock at the back, you can do whatever you want upfield.
Right, so you reckon maybe perhaps Torsos is a bit of the glue, the cement that's going to hold this team together?
I would say so.
And maybe not make them fly off in a bit of a supernova of, again, this super hyped, super team that we're really, I mean, I really hope they play well because we're hyping them up so much.
Yeah, I mean, we're setting them up for failure, I think. We're casting curse.
Maybe a little bit, but I mean, there is high expectations for a reason.
That is true, that is true. And I mean, I can see just Torsos like saying, right, you guys do what you need to do, I'll be your rock. And I would love to see all three players kind of get these passing plays going. I don't know how long they've actually played together and how much experience is under the belt, so we might not see too much of that, but
well,
We're
we finally get a chance to see as Cringe Society and Team Esper kick off here in game number 1. And it's already looking real good for Cringe Society as they get it up the field again. Spidoge, he's hanging back in the wings here, looking for an awkward clear to push it up into the net.
He was kind of waiting for that mid-boost to spawn. As soon as he flipped away, it did. You hate to see it, but there we go. Drippe getting flicked over. Delusion with the goal. Steve with the assist.
And again, maybe we could hype him up a little bit, but I mean, look, 1 goal, 20 seconds in, as Delusion struggles to get to the ball in time, unfortunately for him. That's a really cool looking card.
Delusion scored it. It was him that scored it there. He stole it from his teammate and puts Team Esper in the lead here. It was Drippe that couldn't quite make it on the save there. And Spidoge in the corner, tries to pass it off to Drippe, but good little clearance there. Torsos picking it up, goes to the flick. Steve knocks it away though.
Yeah, but they're still going hard on this one because they're all in position. Torsos zooming up the field, looking for his moment. Has to get a bit of a clear off to the side though, as it moves towards his own net. So there he is, being that rock in the back.
Yeah, this is a team that a lot of people are speculating that could be picked up by a big award like Chiefs. It is notably absent from the roster of teams we have this season. So if they can play well, then they could see themselves picking up that award placement. But I mean, they've got to start off strong. And I mean, going 1 goal down is not the best little showing just to get straight off the bat, especially with how much we hyped them.
Well, they've got a bit of time. It's certainly not over yet, and they are still sticking on the defense here. These players would love to just start attacking, start sending it up the field, but they've got to play it carefully. Spidoge sees his moment, but just drops a little bit too low. Just sees Team Esper taking it out of the sky.
Yeah, just not really having the gas in the tank to kind of challenge that one and get the clean ball that he wants. But here we go. We see, sorry, I was going to call them the Rats again. It's forced ahead from last season.
It's ingrained.
Team Esper, I've got to get used to that. Putting it out here. Goes for the clearance Delusion, but does get beat by Torsos. And there it is, Cringe Society with their first goal in the RLOC.
And it's, it's just the pure 50-50. Torsos saying, yep, that one's mine, I can nab it away from him, and sees an open net behind him, so it's an easy goal, and it does even things up. So that's the kind of play that we were expecting to see out of Cringe Society.
I am loving how Team Esper's cars are looking there. I think they've just hit random and gone for it, which is, I mean, a big brain play, I would say.
Hey man, look, you got to have those notable cars, right? I mean, Amphis is one, I always notice as well. He always plays that green car. It's great, but there's the defense here. This is green as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, Spido's is your man for this game.
I think it's the same green, like the exact same shade of green as well. But getting back to the game, as it's sitting just in front of the net right now, but oh my gosh, Cringe decided to keep it out.
What a save by Spido's there to hit it off against the post and just knock it down to Drippe. Did get the clearance in the end, had to beat 2 in the 50. Spido's again going back. I mean, it's looking like he's the rock at the back of this set.
Yeah, well, Team Esper are starting to get some good rotations rolling, but finally their attack ends, and finally it's Cringe Society's time to strike, looking for their moment. Torsos trying to get it into the midfield. Spido's can also do that too. It is getting cleared away by Team Esper, so that should shut that one down, especially as Torsos gets that one taken away.
Great defending from Steve there. We saw him win 2 50s in that and knocking it over a few players as well, just to buy his team time to rotate and then also get it out of the half. But Cringe Society does pick it up again, gets the waterfall. Torsos with the double touch, gets the goal.
Wow, and he just sends it all the way around every single member on the defense here. Of course, Steve just going way too far away, and that just little tap sends it in.
It was delusion with the whiff there. Should have had the clearance. It was pretty easy. I don't even think Torsos thought he was going to get it back, but I mean, put himself in the right position so that if that did happen, he was there to score it. And there it is, Cringe Society with the lead now.
Yeah, and that's going to be a comfortable lead for them as well, unless Team Esper sent that one in. But there it goes through the field. Spido's looking to just block that one. Should be easy peasy, but all the members of Team Esper are still very far forward. This could be dangerous, could be risky. If Team Esper don't get back in time, Drippe will not be able to send it in, so it is going to slow down just a little bit as both teams start clearing it back and forth.
Got to say, Spido's looking very solid at the back here, as well as in the midfield, winning a lot of 50s, but also just passing it off to his players and letting them do the work here. But being in the right position is so key in this game, and he's doing it well.
In fact, Cringe Society's 50-50s is just looking real good. I mean, Spido's, Torsos, they're all looking to steal it away very easily, but there's a shot, easy block by Torsos, but it's an awkward clear. Can anyone from Team Esper find a way to send it in? Just a little bit high, goes to the corner, and that's a bit of a whiff, so Delusion can find a way to pass it, but Torsos 50-50s it away from him.
Yeah, 0 boost on Delusion there, so couldn't quite get a powerful hit to get the pass off. Just keeps it up in the air and gives enough time for Cringe to get it up, but does stay on the offense here. Torsos with a big clearance. Drippe cleaning it up in the midfield. Does keep possession, tries to pass it off to his players, but Frenzy snatches it up and gives it to C.
And now it's Team Esper's time to start stealing the ball every single pass from Cringe Society. They still have to find a way to get a goal in, though, because there's only 30 seconds to go and they're 1 goal down. So Cringe Society could just hold on to it, could just keep the ball over here and just keep lobbing it over to the net.
Yeah, double whiffs coming out from Team Esper there, but does get cleaned up by Delusion. Pressure is on, though. I don't think many boosts in the tank for Esper here, so we'll have to see if they can capitalize on this. Spido's knocks it down, but none of his teammates there to clean it up as Drippe cleans up in the midfield, knocks it down to Torsos, does go for the double touch, doesn't find it.
Cringe Society have to be careful, though, because one rogue ball could just even things up and send us to overtime. Team Esper holding on to this one. Can they keep it in the air now? But it doesn't look like it as it's sent right to the ground.
Yeah, and what a way to end it with Spido's getting another 50-50 win. He's been solid. Torsos there with the MVP with the 2 goals, but Spido's just being this rock at the back. I thought it would be the other way around.
Yeah, now the question is, are Cringe Society living up to our expectations? Are they where they should be for a team of this hype? Or are we still just waiting for them to maybe get a little bit rolling? Can they do that within the series itself?
Yeah, I do want to see them roll a bit more. I think their 2 goals were just from mistakes coming out of Team Esper, not kind of passing plays.
The waterfall especially.
Yeah, especially that one to point one out. But I can see Esper, I keep trying to call them the Rats. It's just that force of habit. Team Esper, I can see them coming back in here. I think now that first game's over, the nerves have kind of settled a little bit. They can start to kind of be a bit more solid. The communication's got to come through for sure. But yeah, I don't think that Cringe Society have really got to their level yet. They haven't reached their ceiling for sure.
Still maybe powering up a little bit. For Team Esper, though, I've got to say, their 50-50s is just not working out. I mean, every single time Cringe Society are able to steal it away from them, it just really limits their passing potential. It limits their biggest strength, which is going to be their team play. And so if you're getting it taken away from you every time, How can you act as a team?
I do think an exception to that is Steve, though. He was fantastic in the defense. It was just the other two members not really following suit with how well he was playing at the back. But we'll have to see if the other two can step it up. If they can play the same level as Steve that he's playing at, then I think that they could snatch some games in the series.
So with a one-game lead now to Cringe Society, Team Esper looking to even up here in game number 2. Already strong on the attack here. Can they find a way to clear it to the midfield to send it in? Not if Spidoge has anything to say about it as he steals it away and pushes it so far down the field.
Yeah, good 50 win there, but Torsos not getting the better of this. But look at that, all players up. Spidoge is the last man. Does very well to clear that. Keeps possession as well and gets the demo. We have to see a goal come out from this. This would be fantastic play coming out of Cringe Society, especially from Spider.
Well, they took their time a little bit, so unfortunately for them, they won't be able to find it. Frenzy will get that one taken away from him. He's looking for the rest of his team to come up and push it forward a little bit, but they're all rushing back, looking for that defense right now. Perhaps a little scared of Cringe Society here.
Yeah, maybe there, but they're getting a bit of possession now in Cringe Society's half. Not a good name to say quickly, is it?
No, say that one 6 times. So here we are. Now we're getting Team Esper in front of the Cringe net. I think it's worse just saying Cringe.
Yeah.
I thought that would work, but it doesn't at all. So Cringe Society now get their attack going. Spidoge in the fast green car, sending it up through the air, but Steve and the rest of Team Esper, I almost called them the Rats then too, managing to hold this one again. So can they get this rotation going? It doesn't look like it is. Cringe Society, send it forward.
This is a game of difficult names, I think. This is the test for us, not the teams.
No, give it a few weeks. It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
But we see here a bit of back and forth in the midfield. Esper getting the better of it. Delusion knocking it past Spidoge. Torsos does well enough to keep the clearance, but Steve here trying to pass it off to his teammates. Doesn't get a clean enough hit there. Gives the possession back over to Cringe Society.
Team Esper are really fighting for this one, and on top of the demo onto Drippe as well. Means maybe they could find something, but Cringe Society are just lobbing it out. But there it is, they find the window.
And there it is, Steve popping off, getting this double touch as well. I mean, baits out Spido, she whiffs the save, but look at this. Great control in the air to get around that ball and knock it away.
Very precise.
Spido.
Very precise. Almost kind of rolls it off his body as well. So 1 point forward, just like in game number 1. Team Esper a little bit later, but they do get it up first.
Yeah, that's not easy from Steve there, especially in such an ugly car. He's managed to do that. Props to him.
Hey man, we don't judge the appearance of cars here, just the hitbox. That's all that matters here. I mean, you can have a gross green car if you want, it doesn't matter. So, as long as it hits the ball properly. But Team Esper...
It's not the Octane, it's not good.
Hey man, anyone can use the Octane. I will love them if they do. And so, moving again, Team Esper, I mean, they want to keep that ball rolling. If they can get an even 1 game against Cringe Society, that would do much to boost their momentum here in a series where it is a little bit of a David and Goliath one.
Here we go, Torsos with a bit of control here, a bit of boost, but couldn't quite get it around all 3 players. Did beat Delusion up. As Drippe wins a great 50-50 in the corner. Can he find the pass? No one's really up there thinking that it was going to come through, so Team Esper get a bit of luck on their side and walk away with the lead still as Frenzy saving the shot from Spido's. Drippe tries to regain control, but gives it back over to Esper.
Yeah, and Torsos still waiting at halfway, but where's someone else from his team? He's looking for his teammates as they move forward. Spidoge goes through 2 defenders. Can he get it through the 3rd? It doesn't look like it as they manage to hold it out just enough into an open net, and that's 2 goals on the board for Team Esper.
You hate to see it. It was Spidoge, just didn't get the pass. Also looked for the demo, didn't get either, and then Frenzy, who got the save, just keeps going, gets it past him and gets the counterattack. Torsos was kind of flat-footed. Wow, that feels bad. That hurt to watch.
Oh, it was this close to a beautiful play by Cringe Society, who could have evened it up, but now they're 2 goals down, less than 2 minutes to go here in game number 2. It's certainly a lot slower than game number 1. And can Drippe find his goal here? He's getting it over to the midfield, but no one's really through the air. Spidoge, he's going to have to work a bit harder than that.
I do have to say, though, Team Esper is stepping up. All players playing how Steve did in that first match, all being very solid, and you can see the lead here. If they just turtle a little bit, look for that counterattack, it's going to work.
Yeah, and now they're really fighting for the ball again, but that demo is going to slow things down and maybe even open a window, but no, that clear is good enough to buy that time for Team Esper. All 3 members now looking at that halfway mark, looking to just push it forward again. 1 minute to go. You're just going to buy some time and just not let it in your own net.
Yeah, looking very hard to break down Team Esper right now. And could be a bit of kink in Cringe Society's armor if they can't seem to find a way or any passing plays to really break down that defense.
Yeah, Team Esper are really winning these 50-50s now. It's really working out for them, and it's the big difference here in this game. It's stopping so many goals from Cringe Society, and it's keeping them on the offense so often.
Yeah, just like that. You say it and it happens. I mean, Steve there gets the pass off, doesn't quite do it. There's no one in net now for Team Esper, but does get away from Drippy. Goes to the pass, passes off to Spidoge. Nice little pinch pass from them. And Spidoge reaps the reward for Cringe Society. Only one goal in it with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, and there's the risk from Team Esper just being a little bit too aggressive there. You do leave the door open if you miss things. You let those 50-50s get send it into an open net just like that. And even if it took a little bit of time, it was essentially an open net.
That was a nice pass as well. The weight of pinch is not easy, and so he just put it on a plate for Spido. He's not going to get an easier shot in the league.
Okay, Cringe Society, 20 seconds to find one more on the board, and they can certainly do it, especially if Drippe sees his moment. It was a quadruple tap off the wall, but 10 seconds. Where is Spidoge? There he is! 2-all.
Yeah, Spidoge reaping the reward there, but that's got to be Drippe just winning it there. Torsos getting off the backboard, but Steve was solid in the first game. With the pressure on, 7 seconds left, does make a mistake there and leaves the door wide open for Spidoge to reap his second.
And here we could see a very intense game if it goes to overtime. We'll give it a few seconds to see if that's exactly going to be the case, as both teams very likely want to keep it in the air, but no, it just goes to the ground. Now, overtime. Cringe Society expect to win this game, but here they are in overtime. Team Esper would love to take one out against Cringe Society.
And is this our first overtime of Season 9? I'm looking forward to it. Couldn't have been any better teams to do it as well. This is looking like a good game.
Well, don't hold your breath, because this one could be a quick overtime. Cringe Society already on the aggression here, but Team Esper have taken it away. Is anyone going to go for the ball here into the corner? Means that they could go for a good 50-50 steal here. There it is. They've got it, good control. They just need to get it centered here to go for that shot, but Cringe Society making it super hard.
Yeah, well, we could be in for a long overtime. Torsos was in that Renegades team at Worlds. It took it to 9 minutes, and I mean, he hasn't got Sicky to put it in his own net this time, so it could go for even longer.
God, don't do him dirty like that. Come on.
He's not even in the game, and I had to take a shot at him.
Oh, that's so mean. But he's not even here, so just give him a break. So Cringe Society loving to get this one in here. Drippe being super patient here. It's bouncing around in front of the ball, but Drippe wants to wait to see what's going on. He rushes for it though, looks for the steal. Can't find it, it just goes to the side.
Torsos, can he find a pass out there? Does try and find Drippe, but there is a keeper in net to win that 50 there. Demo's coming through, but he does hit the ball backwards as well. Gives it to Steve, who wins possession for Esper. Torsos winning the 50-50 and getting out of 10.
It's all the game of the 50s here to see which team can find this one last goal in overtime. Already at a minute and a half, so it's not the shortest overtime, that's for sure, as both of these teams really looking to put on a performance here. Team Esper really showing up against Cringe Society.
Yeah, and it's just shots, everybody coming out here from both teams, so I had to see which one can finally get it in the net.
I could certainly see more shots though, because look, they're both contesting the ball all the time in the air. I think we're just going to see a magical play from someone like Drippe or Spidoge, because they're the players that can find these moments in dire times like this.
Yeah, Cringe Society having a lot of possession in Esper's half here, but we did see the counterattacks coming out for Esper, so it just takes that one overcommit and that overextension for them to lose this game and go even up the series for Esper.
But it also only takes one mistake to learn to not do it again. But there it is, just past one defender, but luckily for Team Esper, they had two. But Drippe is there because Cringe Society had two attackers and send it into the goal to win in overtime.
Yeah, Torsos winning it there, getting that extra hit to knock it away from Delusion, and then Spidoge just does what he needs to do to pass it off, not being selfish. Give it to Drippe, and that's Cringe Society 2-0 up in this series. I mean, we did see a bit more of what this team has to show, but still hasn't really reached that peak. But I did like how Esper fought back, taking this to overtime.
Yeah, I mean, look, Team Esper showing off that synergy as well, moving into a much stronger performance in game number 2. We did crack down a little bit on their 50-50s in game number 1, but they certainly stepped up in game number 2. And let's not forget how close that was to just being a win for Team Esper.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they were 2-0 up, was it? And then it came back.
It was like 30 seconds left.
Yeah, 7 seconds was the last goal that came through. So So yeah, crazy from Cringe Society to not crumble with the pressure coming on them. But yeah, that's them taking a 2-0 series. Maybe not as deserved as people would have thought. It's been a lot closer. We'll have to see if Esper can start to crawl back. They now have to reverse sweep if they want to win this series.
You bring up pressure, right? And just look at the roster, right? You've got 3 just star players who've been to LANs, they've been to high pressure situations. So being down a few goals with not much time left is not strange to these guys on Cringe Society. I mean, yes, the same can maybe be said about Team Esper, but it's just at a slightly higher level for Cringe Society. So these guys, it doesn't matter if they're 2 goals down, you can never count them out.
Definitely, on paper, you just look at Cringe Society and you think that this team, it should be above the rest of them. But, I mean, because Esper has so much experience behind them, that's why they're in this series so much. You could see them be quite solid in the back, and it's only when there's that mistake of the last man and that pressure coming on them that they do start to score. We haven't really seen Cringe Society put on a really good passing play that's just totally caught Esper off guard. Maybe in that overtime it started to happen, but we'll have to see if they can carry it on and take this out 3-0. Would be a good showing.
Yeah, well, here we go into game number 3 here. Cringe Society on match point, and still, right now, already sitting in front of Esper's net. But there it is, right past Steve. He sends it through the air. Delusion also looking to find something here too. As the car just really glares into my eyes. It stands out so much.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the green from Spidoge either.
Really? No, I like the green. I like the green because it stands out just enough to be really cool.
Well, here is Frenzy with 0 boost, does keep the pressure off for a little bit of time, but with Drippe crossing that across the goal, there's a bit of pressure onto Team Esper. Steve winning the 50-50 there, but Drippe getting an odd bump, wasn't meaning to, but does open the door for Torsos to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's eyes on the underbump over there, but Spidoge sees his moment, sends it over to Torsos, and, well, unfortunately for Team Esper, their defenders weren't there in time, and so it's essentially an open net for them there. Cringe Society, 1 goal up, the first time they get the first goal in the game.
Could this be the hype train starting to gear up and get going, pick up a bit of speed? I mean, this is the first time that they've started so strong and get the first goal. We have to see if they can carry it on and keep this dominant performance.
Well, the last game in the first series of the day just went out of proportion. It was like 6-0 or something. So coming into this one, this could potentially be the last game of this series, and maybe we see another repeat as Cringe Society really get rolling. So speaking of rolling, they are continuing their attack here. Steve's got to get back there.
Spidoge never really being selfish this game, always looking to pass it off to a teammate. I would like to see him to just take it. That was an opportunity there. It's a one-on-one. Just do it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, Spidoge's super known for his solo plays. So, yes, do your team plays, but come on, Spidoge, give us a bit of that spice. Give us, we love the show that Spidoge can put on, so we want to see a little bit of that as well.
Show us what all those hours of playing this game can amount to.
Show us what that green little car can do.
Prove your parents wrong.
I don't think his parents ever said that he was bad at Rocket League.
No, I just mean that he's put so much time into the game that
Right,
they thought he was wasting his time. But there it is, Spidoge proving his parents wrong, maybe, if they do doubt him, putting the goal in, and that's a 2-0 lead for Cringe Society, who are also two games up in the series.
Yeah, now this is looking like the Cringe Society we were expecting to see at the start of the season. Just moving in, getting very easy goals, very few minutes into a game, and just not even giving Team Esper a chance.
Yeah, just holding on to the ball, keeping possession, and being dominant. That's what I kind of expected to come out from this roster, but you never know until you actually see them play. So it's good to see them finally get the ball rolling and get that momentum. Wow, that is... Ooh, yikes.
Oh no, man! Like, that's just someone passes the ball to you in rugby and you just drop it flat out. It was a good pass and everything, but it just falls out of your hands, and then the other team scores off it.
I didn't even want to watch the replay. That was, yeah.
I feel like after that, this could be another game that just goes to 6-0. I mean, that feels terrible. Team Esper have time to come back into it for sure, but Cringe Society have just seemed, it's like they've gone Super Saiyan like they should have from the start.
If Frenzy had done that at the other half, as another goal goes through, here it is, they finally kicked off. If he had done that at the other side, I would have said it was the pass of the season. So not the best to do it in your own net. Give it a free goal, and it looks like the mentality has just dropped completely as they're getting torn apart only halfway through the game, and it's 4-0.
Yeah, and it is a really rough ask to expect the team to play to the optimal potential in a situation like this, right? You've got to find 4 goals, which you just haven't done all series. And even then, you still have to win another 2 games after that. And even then, you still have to win overtime. So it is a big ask, but unfortunately, these teams have to do it. And Cringe Society, they're taking advantage of it. They're loving it. They're just wanting to get it up to the 6-0. They're saying, hey, look, if game 1 can do it, then we can do it too.
Yeah, this is where I want to see some flip resets and a bit of fun coming out from Cringe Society. You're 4-0 up, you have a bit of leeway to do so and just kind of show off, show what this team's about, show the mechanics that is in this team. All 3 players can pull it out from any moment, so I'd like to see them put a bit of fear in the other teams.
Yeah, we're talking to you, Spidos. Give us a solo play. Fly through the air. Like the magical being you are.
Even Dripper, I'd love to see him pop off. We didn't quite see it last season, so I'm hoping that this is the moment, this is the time, this is the year for him, the decade.
Perhaps. It perhaps is. And now, with a minute and a half to go, you've got to say this one's a bit sealed right now for Cringe Society. We were already kind of calling it before, but it's just getting less and less likely as Team Esper have just been on the defense so often. They get it up to the blue side, but it lasts for a few seconds before it's suddenly back to them on the defense again.
This game, this series was so close to begin with. The first 2 games could have gone either way, so it's a bit of a shame but to see it go this way, but also it is great to see a team pop off like this.
Yeah, and it's got to feel good for them as well, Cringe Society, especially after game 1 and 2, where they thought maybe perhaps, wow, you guys, we've been practicing for so long and didn't quite get the results. Yeah, we won, but we wanted to win even harder. This is the winning even harder that they wanted, and it's probably feeling really good for them right now.
Yeah, with all the eyes on them as well, to see if this team could actually pull it together and work as a unit to get a 5-0 lead in this game number 3, which is probably going to be a 3-0 series as well. What a showing to start, and against a team that has been together for a year and is a team that a lot of people would pick as a top 4 team.
Yeah, it's not like they just came in and crushed the bottom team in a hugely outclassing match, right? I mean, this is a tougher team to beat. Certainly not up there all the way with some of the other teams like Renegades, but it's certainly impressive to beat them, especially in a 5-0 like this.
Yeah, I mean, last season they were 1 game away from knocking out Chiefs from going to the playoffs and going there themselves. So this is not a team to kind of take lightly and shrug them off as a bottom place team. I think this is a real competitor. So for Cringe Society to kind of tear them apart in this last game is such a good showing, and other teams are going to be scared.
And as the clock counts down the final 10 seconds, Cringe Society count down the final seconds until, well, okay, they're not really counting down, are they? They wanted to make it a 6-0, just like the first series.
Yeah, I think we're just running through the script. Was a 6-0, yeah, and then it should go to us. Yeah, okay, the script's going to plan. This is right. I mean, 6 seconds left on the clock. Can they get a 7 and beat out the first match? But
yeah,
I'm not sure we'll see it.
Because do you really win if you didn't win as hard as the winners in the first series?
Oh, Spidosh does get blocked there. Almost made it a 7-0. But there it is, 6-0 in the final game. Cringe Society with a good showing, taking down Team Esper 3-0.
Yeah, and again, just like the first series, it doesn't matter how close it was in game 1 and 2, and well, not really close in 3. The fact is they won the series, and so all they have to do now is go back, look at what happened in game 1 and 2, where they wanted to play a little bit harder, win it a little bit harder, and find out how they can do that for the next time. On the flip side, though, Team Esper rough to go down 0-3 in the first series.
Yeah, for sure, but I've got to say, for me, an MVP would have to be Spidosh. I mean, he was so solid in the first 2 games, kept them in the series. I mean, they could have easily have gone 2 games down if it wasn't for him being so solid at the back and in the midfield. So props to him, goes out to him. I mean, he was a great player last season, so good to see him on a team with such potential as well and still play the way he does.
Yeah, and that's only 3 games we've seen from him so far, and we're going to have so many more to see him on this lineup. And I, for one, am super excited to see what he can pull out and what his teammates can pull out. I mean, you know, even Torsos, who you say, he's a rock in the back, right? He's still a player that can make these crazy solo plays, and yes, he was popping off. I mean,
yeah, the most goals, I'm pretty sure. So he was,
game on, he did.
I mean, even game 3 had the 3 goals at the end there. So yeah, he was popping off. I thought he would be the man at the back that's just this glue and this rock for the team, but it seems like Spidosh filled that role in quite well and even setting up a lot of the goals for his teammates.
So looking real good for Cringe Society as they take out the series 3-0 against Team Esper. Coming up next, we've got Ground Zero with a serious grudge match against the Canberra Havoc.
strategize. Get the ball here.
Beep, 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 a rocket gives you that. Beep, beep, that.
Need a ride? Thanks to Ola and Let's Play Live, we are hooking you up. Simply apply the code on screen to get your first ride free. T's and C's apply.
Simulação super automática, segue.
Sí, la verdad. Good to see you too.
Thanks, Lee.
2 games down, 2 to go here as we're halfway through the very first week of Season 9 of the LPL Pro Rocket League Oceanic Championship. We're powered by Baraka, bringing you the show today. And man, I've got to say, the games, they've been fizzing hard. You like that one?
I wasn't waiting.
You weren't ready for that?
No, I wasn't at all. I mean, yeah, props to you. That was good. But yeah, I mean, the games have been great. A 3-0 coming out from Cringe Society just before. Great series. Good to see them pop off, especially in that last game. Go back and watch it if you've just started tuning in. But this one, I did, but still watch it. Great goals. But this series coming up is probably one I'm most excited for today. A bit of a grudge match, bit of revenge trying to come up.
Yeah, I mean, if I was excited just to see Cringe Society play, I'm excited for this match just for the story implications, right? Last season, Ground Zero were kicked down to the losers bracket by Canberra Havoc in the playoffs. So they seriously want to come back and get some revenge against this team. Canberra Havoc want to come back off the success they had from last season and turn that into an even better season and maybe even return to Worlds.
Yeah, definitely. But we did see Spidosh has left Canberra Havoc, who was quite a great player for them, star performer. So we have to see if the new rookie that's coming in can kind of fill those shoes. But on the other hand, Ground Zero, a lot of their defeats could be put down to lack of practice, they said, because Requiem, who was on the roster, was doing university exams, so he was studying for that instead, which is fair enough. Had his head screwed on, I guess, but that's what they kind of put it down to, and he's no longer on the roster, so we have to see if this team can kind of keep up the form now that they can practice. All
right, so let's take one more look up at that matchup. It's Ground Zero versus Canberra Havoc, and now, of course, like we said, it's that grudge match. And of course, if you're a fan of either of these teams, make sure you get in that Twitch chat and cheer them on. Send them your energy, because these teams are going to be really hammering on for this one as well. It's going to be a really important one. Last season, Ground Zero got 4 wins in a row in the first 4 weeks of the season. Canberra Havoc were a little shaky, but they did get some cool upsets. Let's see what happens this season. Taking a look at the roster for Ground Zero, like you said, a few changes. Walcott, Leduc, and Tango.
This is Canberra Havoc. Yeah, it's been changed up here. We're just kind of keeping you on your toes there, Matt. But yeah, Tango's the new player coming in, a rookie as well. We have we've seen 2 of them already. We have 4, so we have to see if he can fill the shoes of Spidosh. This is a team that was projected to be maybe a last place team. Ended up making it to second. Everyone knows the story by now, surely. I'd love to see Tango fill those shoes, though.
Yeah, well, we'll get to see that in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at their opponents. This time it actually is Ground Zero coming in. Their roster is going to be Jules, Decker, and Express.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, Requiem's out and Express is in, was on the Chiefs last season, and 3rd place team, so not a bad player at all. Very experienced, could be the player that this team needs to pop off. But I got to say, Decker was a pretty standout player for me from this roster, so I want to see him get back to form.
Yeah, Decker had some spectacular moments last season as well, but they were very, very let's say, front-loaded in the season, as they kind of fell off a little bit as the season went on, and particularly they did put up a good showing in the playoffs at LAN, but unfortunately just fell a little bit short, and perhaps could have even gone a little bit better had the seeding gone a little bit better for them during the round-robin stage. But it's a new season, a fresh slate, so we don't have to worry about any of that and just move on to this season. And Canberra Havoc, of course, same deal, right? They just want to come back from their success last season and try and take it to them. So, Watson, my question to you is, how do you expect the series to go?
I'm not sure. I really want to see how Canberra Havoc play with this new rookie. I mean, he's untested in the league, so he could be amazing like how Amphis was in his first game, or he could this team could slip back into that lower bracket team. But I mean, Walcott and Leduc, both players that like to pop off. Walcott's such a rock for this team, and Leduc can just make something out of nothing. So, I mean, even if Tango's playing averagely, I'm pretty sure the other two could maybe carry them in the series. But I'm going to have to give it to Ground Zero. They started strong last season. I expect the same this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree there as well, but you never know what can come out from these players from Canberra Havoc, right? I mean, we talked up Spidoge. He can always pull out these crazy things. And the thing is, last season, that was the case for every single member of Canberra Havoc. And so, you know, you've still got Walcott and Leduc, and Walcott had a really good performance last season. So looking to see if he pulls it into this season as we kick off game number 1 here. Ground Zero versus Canberra Havoc.
And it's very interesting because these two teams have probably opposite trajectories, with Ground Zero starting strong and slumping at the end, and Havoc just starting not too strong. I mean, they got thumped 0-3 in their first game, and then all the way to playoffs, all the way to second. We know the story.
Yeah, well, the following week they beat the Renegades.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a very odd season for them, but it was magical. It was a fairy tale.
Okay, so let's get into the here and now, the reality, as Canberra Havoc are on the defense here, as we'll get the UI up for you in just a moment, wonderful fans, as it's coming up, but all the way over to the goal here for Ground Zero, but we're just lobbing it back and forth at the moment.
Yeah, and Tango getting a few early touches here, getting used to the pace of the game, I believe, not really getting too much control, Canberra Havoc, but there it is, Tango flying in from the other side of the field just to keep the possession alive for them, but nothing really coming from it as he couldn't find Leduc.
Oh, keep your eyes on Express as he squeezes it through over to Decker, but Decker gets disrupted just a little bit too much. So Canberra Havoc can hold on to that one and send it back down. But right in front of the net, what are you doing? Decker is going to be able to score.
Yeah, Jules just winning this 50-50 on Walcott. He was just caught on the ball for too long, gets the pass off, no one up on the backboard to clear it, so it just gives too much time for Decker to just stump that one in. I mean, this is the Ground Zero we saw at the start of last season, just so dominant and forcing teams to make mistakes and capitalizing on them too.
Yeah, but a really good little squeeze as well, finding that moment too on the attack again, pushing it forward, still center lined too. So they keep getting in front of this net, but this defense keeps knocking it back over, and now Ground Zero have to go back to defend.
Yeah, Canberra Havoc, a very counter-attacking team, likes to just sit back a little bit more, let the other team dictate the style of play and counter-attack when they can, but you see them, they're quite a rock in defense, but that was with Spidoge, who we saw in the last game, was a rock for Cringe Society, so let's see if Tango can kind of keep up that style of play, or you know, he starts to slump it down and make mistakes. I think it was his mistake that caused the goal before.
Yeah, and Jules really wanting to push that one out, but he couldn't quite find it, so now Express trying to push it up with the rest of Ground Zero, so they get a good one rolling here, but if Canberra Havoc can steal this one away, which it looks like they can, Walcott pushes it up, but it is pushed away from him.
I can't believe Tango's actually using the Merc, though. That's probably the worst call. I can't believe he's using that in his first game.
Man, it's intimidating.
Yeah, maybe, or it's just silly.
Well, we'll see if he changes it out from game number 1, but who knows how it'll go. But he's sitting in front of defense. It's a big fat car, so maybe it's...
Yeah, looking to be a literal rock for this team, I think. Took my words too seriously.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's looking for. Express with almost a bit of a sideline goal there, but a bit awkward to find that one in. So Decker, oh no, he does miss it, which means the rest of Canberra Havoc can push forwards, try and find something here. But man, all these players are just fighting for the ball in the air at every single opportunity. Yeah,
Tango's clearance there was just a bit too heavy and couldn't quite find Walcott. As we see here, the missed rotations, I think it was Tango that gave away possession there, and Decker's reaped the reward for it.
Yeah, now with a 2-goal lead, it's looking very, very strong for Ground Zero. As Canberra Havoc have struggled to really find anything against Ground Zero. There haven't been any strong attacks, so Ground Zero haven't even had to work too hard to save the goals.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great pass from Express as well. I mean, look, heading into a 50-50, decides to just knock it to the side for his teammate. Great awareness of where his players are and just finds that pass. And here it is, Jules just beating a man and then just putting it himself.
Yeah, a lot of power on that shot as well, so made it super hard to defend even with 2 defenders. A great steal on that 50-52. And just look at that. Super powerful into that one, 103 kilometers per hour. And 3 goals up right now. You've got to say, this is such a strong lead for Ground Zero.
Yeah, this is very confident play from them. I mean, this is what we saw from Ground Zero at the start of last season, and I guess the same for Canberra Havoc. They didn't start too strong in their first game, but yeah, I can see just Leduc and Walcott just switching it on and getting a few goals back if Ground Zero keep this aggression going and leaving it open at the back.
And Decker keeps taking it away from them. Every time Canberra Havoc push it up, it usually seems to be Decker who just rips it away from them. And so look at it again as they push it forward. Maybe they find a net, but the good save coming out from who else but Decker keeps it alive.
Again, Express with 0 boost there, winning the 50 as well, just setting it up for Jules, who wins so much time putting in that corner. Gives it out to Decker. So many halfway shots coming because all that Havoc are doing is just knocking it there.
And Ground Zero stealing it away every single time means they can make passes like that to get the ball in.
What a great showing from them. I mean, this is the first game for them of the season. You want to start strong, and a 4-0 with 4 minutes gone is a great way to start. Jules just knocking that one down. Good passing plays for them as well. They're playing as a unit.
And, you know, it's not even super unexpected from a team like Canberra Havoc, who had wildly variable results last year. So who knows? Maybe they lose this game 6-0 or something and then come back and just stomp Ground Zero. But we still have 1 minute to go here. Canberra Havoc all but out of this one, but Ground Zero probably want to rub a bit of salt into the wound here if they can get any more goals.
Yeah, we see Tango's just going for demos now. He's
Why not?
maybe give it up. It's 4-0 with a minute to go, but yeah, maybe he's a little bit tilted in his first game. I'm going to blame it on the Merc. We'll see if he brings it out in the second game.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe he picked it up by mistake, forgot he had it on or something. But regardless, though, that's going to be pretty rough for them in game number 1 here. Ground Zero, though, on the flip side, feeling fantastic. What a great way to open the season. You're just styling on your opponents. It's looking like it's no contest at all.
A team that people doubted after the end of last season. Here's the shot coming in, but saved by Jules. A bit of an awkward one, but does well. Decker coming back as well. Yeah, as I was saying, a team that a lot of people doubted at the end of last season because they were starting to show a bit of kinks in their armor from such a strong performance at the start, but it looks like they're back.
Yeah, look, I mean, they've completely turned it around since the end of last season, so it's looking great. Tango just hanging out in his own goal with his big fat car. But this ball will eventually touch the ground, as all things do, and that will end game number 1 with Ground Zero with a very strong win.
Clean sheet as well. I mean, it wasn't just the attack. The defense was there, the rotations, the passing plays, all goals were assisted. 9 shots coming out from them. I mean, wow, yeah, very dominant performance coming out from them.
Look, I mean, I got to shout out Decker here. He's playing spectacularly, always being very aggressive, stealing it away, and is looking like a great member of Ground Zero right now. And if Ground Zero look like this for the rest of the season, then they could very well return to playoffs, maybe even with a better seeding this year.
Yeah, I would like to see them get back into the top 2, maybe see if they can make it all the way to Worlds, but they got to start in this game. They got to start strong. This is the team that pretty much tilted them and knocked them out with putting them down to the lower bracket. So they're getting the revenge here. 4-0 in the first game. There's a bit of aggression, isn't there?
Very aggressive. And now we've got to say, is Canberra Havoc without Spidos looking like any kind of remnant of what they once were?
For me, no, not at all.
I mean, it's one game.
Yeah, but I didn't see it at all. There was just panic, it seemed. I mean, Tango didn't really fill those shoes coming into the first game. Maybe it's the nerves for sure, but yeah, I didn't see the Havoc that we did last season. Yeah,
and it's almost more like Canberra Havoc's attack is just falling flat right now. I mean, we never really saw a good rotation rolling. We never really saw them keep it in the Ground Zero half for very much of the game. So it feels like Ground Zero just shut down anything that Canberra Havoc can do and then turned it around and got their stuff rolling. And, well, it seems to work out very well for them.
Yeah, definitely need to tighten it up at the back, and once they do that, then they can look to get these attacks. But it's got to start with the defense. You got to stop letting those goals in, and then maybe you'll have a chance. But as Ground Zero start off very strong with a shot coming off kickoff, Tango clears it up. It gives it to Leduc, who powers it up into the corner, but no one there to follow it.
Yeah, well now, oh, wow, okay, he kept the Octane, so he's going to be...
the Merc. And he scored with it. Oh, no. Oh, okay, I've eaten my words, I guess. But yeah, I don't know if he was really trying to shoot this. He kind of just hit it against the ceiling and beat Express. It was an odd goal, but there it is. That's his first goal in the league. First goal for Canberra Havoc as well this season. So maybe that's what they needed to kind of get the ball rolling.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see how repeatable that kind of goal is, because they're going to need a few more of those if they want to hope to win the series. But regardless, though, it does look like a better start for them. But let's see what they can keep up with as Tango pushes forward, looking to steal it away. Walcott, instead of going for the 50-50, goes for the boost. Can he steal it? Not up in the air in time, which means now, once more, it's Canberra Havoc. Yeah, back in the defense.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Just getting a bit of technical difficulties, but Jules, no difficulties on his end, just knocks this under the bar.
Yeah, and so that's the difference, right? Canberra Havoc get a goal from some kind of weird shot that didn't really look like it was going to go in, but did. But then Ground Zero just get a standard roll up, find the shot, find an opening. One of those goals seems more repeatable than the others.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Havoc just not getting the clearance that they want. See the whiff coming out from Walcott there. Very rare. Last season he was such a rock, but this season just looking a bit shaky to start off with. I mean, under a lot of pressure because Ground Zero is playing so well, but needs to kind of tighten it up. They all do.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to see this brick wall of the defense coming out from Ground Zero really be shattered, and it looks like they're just going to push it forward, but the good save does come out from Walcott. But now, can they recover from the rest of this? It looks like they can if Tango gets the clear, and he does.
It takes so much to get his car in the air. It looks so heavy.
Yeah, it's super heavy.
It's not the case, but it does look that way as we see the ball pop up for Decker here. Can he get the double touch? Does. Knocks it down for Jules, who gets the double touch as well himself. Wow, what a play. Great passing play coming out from Ground Zero. Decker, just knowing his players behind him, just needs to lay it off to him. Enough power so that it beats the keepers, and there it is. That's Ground Zero, 2-1 up.
Yeah, and Ground Zero just look like they have been practicing a whole lot. Look very well oiled as a team right now. Their communication seems to be super on point right now. So, a 2-1 lead, and I feel like that one goal that Canberra Havoc got might be the only one they find.
It might be, but we could see it. There's only one goal in it, and they're still over halfway of this game. I mean, it just takes one lucky break to get it out of their half and score. Just a missed rotation from Ground Zero is all it's going to take for this to even up. But Jules with the shot, Walcott blocking it, could have made it 3-1.
I just don't see it happening for Canberra Havoc at the moment right now, because Ground Zero just seems to be one step ahead at every stage of the game. And you can see it right here. They're clearing out the defense again, saving it very easy. Tango is waiting for his moment, going to push up the Murph to see if he can find it, but once again, Jules just gets past all the defenders.
Yeah, Tango just not getting a good 50-50 there as well. Did buy enough time for his team to rotate, but couldn't keep the attack on for Havoc, and it gets snuffed out again. Tango clearing it up here. Can he find the pass? Does, but it is whiffed by Walcott, not thinking that he was going to get a touch on it because there was two defenders that also missed it.
And now they're just going to have to hope for a bit of a clear here, but it still just sticks in their side off the roof. And so that means Ground Zero are happy to go up for another attack. Again, pushing it forward. Jules going for a few bumps, and that's going to be enough.
Yeah, the bumps were key in this one, and also this just Express, just forcing it in down on top of Tango here. Couldn't quite get the power and just dunks it into the right corner.
Yeah, I mean, Tango stepping up as that last second defense after his teammate gets bumped all the way to the other side of the world. So Ground Zero just looking super strong here. They've got bumps, they've got shots, they've got the rotations. It's all looking fantastic.
Here we see Tango up on the wall there, not getting a clearance quick enough, buying a lot of time for Ground Zero to get in place, but you see his missed rotation here, does knock it for the pass, but Jules just reads it like a book, knocks it all the way to the other side, and now they've got to scramble for the defense.
Yeah, and it just seems that every time Canberra Havoc get it up forward, Ground Zero shut it down immediately, and so Canberra Havoc, they've got to call up their all-out to get back all the way to the net as soon as possible, and so even then it doesn't seem to work up in time because Ground Zero just so quick.
Yeah, it's just Ground Zero being 2 steps ahead of the play, being a lot quicker up to these balls, winning every 50-50, and look how much time they're spending in Canberra Havoc's half, and even when they get the clearance, it just gets sent all the way back in. They have to use everything to get it out. But Leduc here, can he find the shot? Puts it wide, gets the rebound, and somehow sneaks it in the corner there. And that's with 1 goal with 1:23 left on the clock. It is doable.
Yeah, he does recover very well from the bit of the whiff there, so you can feel a little bit better about that one. And like you said, now we may actually have a game. Now we might actually find a moment where Canberra Havoc can find it in again. But I've got to say, the 2 goals they've got this game just haven't been standard goals. It's been weird moments that they found kind of weird openings against Ground Zero. So maybe they can find it again, but it doesn't feel reliable.
Yeah, Tango had a bit of space there, but just went on without the ball. And yeah, pretty painful whiff there from Walcott, expecting the contact coming out from Jules there. It was Jules. Oh, he does get a little touch. It was his goal. I thought he whiffed it, but there it is. Yeah, nice shot by Jules, the redirect to put it over Walcott. My bad.
Yeah, just the tiniest of nudges, and it does mess them up just enough. And now it is feeling a little more out of reach. I mean, 2 goals in a minute, yeah, can be done for sure. But Canberra Havoc will have to pull out an attack like we haven't seen all series.
Yeah, if it was the other way around, I would say it can be done. But with how much it's taking for Canberra Havoc to find these goals, it's not likely that we're going to see an overtime in this one. But, I mean, we've seen stranger things. They did make it to Worlds.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was certainly a very surprising moment for sure. But back again here, Decker, I mean, Ground Zero may just find another goal here to seal the deal. I mean, they've been so strong on the attack so far. I mean, 4 goals in one game is quite a lot. It's sitting right in front of the net. Jules just a little bit high, but it's cleared over to his teammate. Can they find one more hit into it? It's cleared by Leduc, which might save it, but there's still 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, the pressure's still on, but that play there was just a bit of a miscommunication. 2 players rotating back, and Jules went for the pass instead of going for the shot, so gives all of the possession over to Canberra Havoc, but they just can't get it out of their half, can they?
No, and time is not on their side as 5 seconds remain and 2 goals are needed, which means that it's not very likely. Bouncing around in front, looking for the 5th goal here for Ground Zero, just to add insult to injury.
Yeah, and look, we were on Tango Cam there, who gets the feels backflip, trying to get that save there, and doesn't get anywhere near the goal. Leduc almost finds it, but there it is, 5-2, 0 seconds, Ground Zero wins it. That's 2-0 up in the series.
And this is just super one-sided right now, and I've got a feel for Canberra Havoc as well, but you've also got to feel great for Ground Zero, because if there was any team they wanted to stomp in the first week of the season, it's got to be Canberra Havoc, the team that sent them out of the playoffs.
And I've got to say, Jules, seeing him pop off as well is great to see. I had my doubts with him at the during playoffs last season, so it's good to see him back into form. He's just setting it up for himself constantly. I mean, he had 7 shots that game, 3 goals, playing very, very well. I mean, as a unit, as a whole, the whole team's playing well.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, of course, Canberra Havoc, unfortunately, just never really got the strong attacks going. There were never any, 9 shots on Ground Zero, not anywhere near that amount coming out for Canberra Havoc. And so they're going to have to change that. They're going to have to find a way to slip it by the Ground Zero defense, but it's just super hard to do. I feel like Ground Zero are the strongest defending-looking team so far.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I said that Canberra Havoc need to tighten up that defense if they really wanted to get it, but yeah, they need to tighten it up at the back just so that they can stop Ground Zero getting those goals in, and then they might have a chance to find that counterattack, maybe win a 1-0 or something there, be a bit cheeky, but yeah, not showing the best as a team this game, I would say.
Yeah, so as we move on, as it appears that both Ground Zero and Cringe Society have been trying to speed run their opponents, we're a little bit ahead of schedule, so we are going to take a very, very short ad break before we get into the remainder of the series.
This is just clinical. Yes!
Beep, 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 beep. A rocket gives you that. Beep, beep, that.
Need a ride? Thanks to Ola and Let's Play Live, we are hooking you up. Simply apply the code on screen to get your first ride free. T's and C's apply.
すみません、そこで止まってください。
吸いながら。
Thanks, Lee.
This is just clinical.
Welcome back, everyone. We are still here, and our deepest apologies for the delays as we've had some pretty rough technical issues, but we are indeed back here to resume this series with Ground Zero with a pretty hefty 2-0 lead against Canberra Havoc. And as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure we can just kick off into the game as soon as it's available.
Yeah, we'll wait till the players are all in the lobby and we'll get into it as soon as we can so we're not making you guys wait too long, but we'll have to see how this shapes up the series. I mean, a bit of a break in the middle, maybe for Havoc, they can kind of regroup and get together and say, right, well, these are the things we did wrong, and got a bit of an added break to kind of have their team meeting.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, regardless of whether it should happen or not, it did happen, and so they've got a bit of a rest. Both teams do. Ground Zero's momentum may have halted, or perhaps it's the drive for them to continue and drive it hard and home to get this over and done with here, as they are on match point.
Yeah, and they've been so dominant in the last two games, so it'd be sad to see them falter there, but there it is, the shot coming up from Express, too powerful to be saved, and already they've got a 1-goal lead. A little break not affecting them too much.
Yeah, I mean, look, wasting no time, right? I mean, they wanted to be done with this 20 minutes ago, and so they're going to come in here and just absolutely crush Canberra Havoc. I mean, get it done as quickly as possible. Why not?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they definitely didn't want to wait too long, but we're back now and they're just getting business done as usual.
So let's see if Canberra Havoc can actually bring anything back against this, because remember, they got a break too, and it was a pretty rough 2 games, and it sort of depends on how the players react to that, right? I mean, are they sitting there just waiting for the game 3 to end as we're sitting in front of Ground Zero net? Can Canberra Havoc find a way in? It doesn't look like it. But yes, it's about whether they handled it well or perhaps not, as it is about to go in, but perhaps not. Ground Zero, this defense, rock solid.
Wow, Express with the final save there, goal line save as well. That was a great little attack coming out from Canberra Havoc, showing what that little break has done for them, and Leduc has finished it off, kept possession, and there it is, 1-1.
And that's the difference. I mean, that's what I wanted to see in game 1 and in game 2, was Canberra Havoc just getting an attack rolling. I mean, they took, what, 4 shots on the goal at that point, and, you know, various passes around, and that's exactly the kind of plays that we saw from Canberra Havoc last year, and what I wanted to see in the series.
For sure, and a kickoff goal coming out here. I said it too soon. No, Leduc does tidy it up. I almost cast a cursor there, but what was this kickoff coming out from Ground Zero? Just a whiff and no follow-up. There it is. That is a cheap goal to give away.
Oh no, and if you're Ground Zero, you're going from, yeah, let's get this done, to, oh, we're gonna have to play a few more games maybe, as they are now 1 goal down right now. They're looking to get a strong kickoff of their own. Decker through the skies, looking to just hand it off over to Jules, who's sitting back behind him. But it will be Canberra Havoc to the ball first, maybe perhaps even looking for a shot.
Canberra Havoc's attack looking a lot better than it was before the break. I mean, it is a completely different team. And Leduc just staying up there, Gets the waterfall, almost falls awkwardly for Decker, but he does the best to get it away from net. Give it off to Express, who clears it out, gets it to halfway.
Yeah, and even that attack alone just looks a whole lot better than what we saw in game 1 and 2, even if it was saved. But there's a demo onto someone from Canberra Havoc. Can they find it in? The save is there, so they'll hold on for now.
Yeah, and even Tango playing with a bit of pizzazz there. You saw him, yeah, he had a flip reset there, used it to beat a player, but because of the demo, the attack was snuffed out by Ground Zero. But it's good to see him finally find his feet in this competition.
Yeah, and especially with the lead now as well, so Ground Zero will look to perhaps slow it down a little bit and take control, but not if Leduc is going to nab it out of their hands, and maybe Walcott can find it, but it is not taken away. Tango, big fat block.
That was great defending by Tango there. Could have gone in for the 50-50, but decided to just wait it out, wait for his teammates to rotate, and then finally commit himself and give the team the rock that they needed at the back.
Yeah, no need to take risks when you're already 1 point ahead. Perhaps even tilting your opponents who just had to sit through a pretty lengthy break to finish out their 3-0. And so now you're suddenly saying, oh, you're wagging your finger saying maybe perhaps it's not going to be a 3-0, but Ground Zero want to even it up here. They've got all 3 members pretty far forward.
Yeah, Tango giving them a bit too much time that time on the ball, giving them too much space, and Ground Zero can't quite work it. I was about to say that the attack had been snuffed out, but Decker somehow finds it on the back end of that play.
Yeah, and that was a sick little pass from Jules over the wall, and then Decker sees his moment. Easiest pie to get in. I mean, there was only one defender, and he was already spent. So Ground Zero even it up.
Definitely, it was Jules there with the pass, and then just following up with the demo and the pressure. Didn't quite get the bump or anything, but he was there. The pressure was there. It was enough. And that's 2-all, evened up in the series. I'm hoping that the series is worth waiting for. I mean, Canberra Havoc have definitely come out of the gate a lot better than before.
I mean, it's a hell of a lot more exciting than game 1 and 2, where Ground Zero just absolutely stomped, but there's a big strong shot by Jules, but it's right into the defenders. That disruption though with the demo, but Canberra Havoc push it around just long enough for everyone to come back, and in fact, even mount an attack of their own.
Jules being the key man in this Ground Zero attack, you see.
Nice dodge.
They're all going for demos now, but Jules was the man starting it off, getting a few of them. You see Decker trying to do the same, but not to the same effect.
Well, Ground Zero pushing it forward and almost goes right underneath everyone on Canberra Havoc. Stays out of the net for now. Ground Zero looking to push it once more. Jules sends it up forward, but there's no one else to push it in. Express is going to have to pass it over to Decker, who lobs it in, but just a little too wide. And Express just trying to finish it off, but there isn't enough power.
Man, these passes coming out from Ground Zero are fantastic, though. Every time they have an easy shot, they're like, no, we're going to bait this last keeper out, try and get an open net for you. Didn't quite work out that time with some scrambling defense from Canberra Havoc, but it's going to work out if they just keep the pressure on.
What control from Ground Zero as a team there. Just watch the replay on that. It starts off with Jules just easily controlling it through the air, actually passes it to Express, and along comes Decker, like threading a needle through a nice little sewing pattern, and there it is. I don't actually know sewing if that works, but there it is. It looked like what I imagined beautiful sewing to look like.
Yeah, well-worked offense there. Jules again following up with the aggression in the demo attempt. Enough to force the keeper back into net and just opening it up for Decker. This is looking like their style of play. Look, as you see Express going for it as well. Jules now scrambling in the defense. Did have enough in the tank to get to it.
Yeah, and maybe the Hype Train engine did stall a little bit for Ground Zero during the break, but it's certainly warm and running right now as they're 1 goal ahead. But that demo could spell danger for them as Tango doesn't even
watches
need
it go
to
in.
bump it in.
Tango watches Walcott score. I mean, he thought about it and then he thought, no, I'll be nice, I won't steal this one. Saw that there was no defenders going for it and just left it for his teammate.
No such thing as steals, Mr. Watson. There's only secures.
For sure, but 3-all now. This is looking like a good series. Canberra Havoc are finally starting to show some life in this series, so
yeah,
we can see if they can take it to overtime.
And if anything, even if Ground Zero do win this one, it does show a lot more promise for Canberra Havoc. So let's see if they can hold on to this one. 15 seconds to go. We're very likely going to go to overtime unless Canberra Havoc can find that one in. But Jules, the hero that he is, keeps it out for now. But there's still an opportunity. Canberra Havoc being very aggressive, all far forward. It's an open net. If Ground Zero can push it forward, and they're going to get the winning goal there to win the game and the series.
No way, I can't believe that they didn't just see this game out. Decker with the last shot there, not letting it touch the ground and just getting it under the bar. Could have easily gone a little too high, but there it is. Ground Zero closing it up after the break. Thought we were getting a series on our hand, but Ground Zero do just enough to beat out Canberra Havoc. I will say I do like the life that Canberra Havoc showed coming out of the break, though.
Yeah, but some of the decisions I'm going to say came out of Canberra Havoc near the end maybe showed a little bit of weakness to the pressure, right? I mean, they see this, the game is evened up, they can maybe come back for the reverse sweep, but then suddenly they just get all aggressive and leave the door completely wide open. And yeah, there's 5 seconds on the clock, but I mean, you know how fast the rocket-powered car can shoot a ball.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they should have just kept it on the defense, kept one player up to maybe waste some time and go into the overtime, get that reset, and then maybe scrap a goal there. But instead, push for the win. They were very close to getting it, but it leaves that back door wide open.
Yeah, they went for the do or die, and unfortunately, they died. And so there it is, ground zero, 3-0, getting that revenge grudge win against Canberra Havoc, and they'll move up the ladder for the first week as well. And so there we have it. Series number 3, I mean, is this really what we were expecting against Canberra Havoc? I mean, we're ground zero meant to come out of the gate this strong.
I think ground zero were looking very, very dominant. I expected that from some experienced players, but Canberra Havoc I was expecting a bit more. I thought Tango could have been a star pickup if that's what he was, but hasn't showed too well. Did show a bit near the end of the series, so there is a bit of life there. They're not completely dead and buried yet, so we'll have to see if they can pick it up in the next weeks, but dominant performance coming out from ground zero.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next matchup, it's going to be a big one. Everyone's waiting for these guys to show up in this season. It's Renegades going to be taking on Mindfreak. Mindfreak will have to pull out all the stops to take out the champions that are the Renegades, and that's coming up right after this break.
This is just clinical. Get the ball here.
Beep, 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 a rocket gives you that. Beep, beep,
Need a ride? Thanks to Ola and Let's Play Live, we are hooking you up. Simply apply the code on screen to get your first ride free. T's and C's apply.
すみません、そこで止まってください。
いいじゃないか。
Thanks, Lily.
This is just clinical.
One more series remains in the first week of the LPL Pro Rocket League Oceanic Championship. It's Renegades versus Mindfreak here. And this last match, you know, powered by Barocca. Again, it's going to be fizzing, but Renegades... Yeah, okay, look.
You can't use the same pun twice.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. All right. But look, I mean, Barocca, very fizzy, okay? But Renegades returning champions. Now, they came off a bit of a... let's say awkward Worlds performance, but very strong local performance in the regional championship. So Renegades are the team to beat here. For Mindfreak, though, are these the guys to do it?
Definitely Renegades with the headline-worthy pickup as well. They've you saw Torsos play earlier, so he's obviously no longer on the roster, but instead brings in the, I would say, the face of OC Rocket League and CJ. Big name. We'll love to see how he fits into this team. They were dominant last season. I'm expecting the same, but there it is. CJ, Kami, and Siki. Siki, the MVP as well. I mean, not to mention, and Kami just always a rock, been in this league for so long. Very dominant team, and I mean, Mindfreak are up against it.
Yeah, and so you're almost trading out Torsos for a bit of the star power that comes with CJ, who is also consistent in his own right, but can bring out these miraculous plays coming out. He's done it a whole lot for the Chiefs in the past, and so plenty of opportunities can come out here. We just have to see how much they can synergize. Now, let's take a look at their opponents, of course. It is Mindfreak, and they certainly have a very tough match on their hand. It's Ghost, Requiem, and Fever. All great players in their own right, but let's talk about the change to this roster.
This is a team that I'm excited for as well. I mean, Requiem was my favorite player on Ground Zero. When they were playing well, he was popping off. He was showing some amazing mechanics, and Ghost was great for Mindfreak as well. He's the only returning member there. But Fever, I've been told, played very well in the play-ins. As a player to watch, is a rookie as well, the last of the 4 rookies. So it'll be interesting to see how he steps up against probably the team that people are putting at the top of the standings.
Yeah, always one of the toughest teams to beat here in Rocket League in this region. So, again, is Fever meant to be the one that's standing up? Is it got to be a Ghost that's got to really pull out a spectacular performance to take down the Renegades? I mean, what are these guys got to do? Or is it simpler than that?
Well, I mean, if it was a different team that they're up against, I would say maybe, okay, Ghost needs to pop off, Requiem, but you're up against the Renegades. They've all got to play well. If one player's not playing well, then they are going to look like a fish out of water, I'd say. They're just going to look dead. So hoping that Ghost can pop off again. I mean, he got MVP of Week 1 last season, so we'll have to see if he does it, brings it to the Renegades and manages to take them down, then I'm sure then he would be looking to pick that up.
The difference between this Week 1 and last year's Week 1, though, was I believe they played Overt?
Yeah, it was probably the competition, but I mean, if he can pull it off, if this team can win and Ghost has a good performance, then hands down he would. But yeah, Requiem, I'm going to be keeping my eye on. He was a player that I think maybe got pushed out of Ground Zero because of his lack of practice, because he was had his head in the right place with his uni exams. We don't know the ins and outs for sure, but I want to see him kind of get vengeance and go into this team that a lot of people would maybe put down, lower down in the standings. I want to see them start to climb the ladder.
And so now let's move our attention to Renegades, right? I mean, everyone's picking them to win this series, perhaps even 3-0. Are they looking stronger than they were last year now that they've got CJ?
We're yet to see, I'm sure, but I think if they want to be as strong as they were last season, they've got to win this 3-0. Anything other than that, I will have my doubts, I believe. So we've got to see if they can start off strong. I'm hoping to see a better performance than Cringe Society. That's what for me, that's the benchmark. They got to be better than them. That's a team that's coming in, hasn't played together, but I mean, 2 of these members played together last season. There's that synergy. CJ could probably fit into any team. He's such a great player. Has been around for so long, is the face of this league, I'd say. So yeah, I've been excited to see this team play.
Yeah, and then for Kami and Siki, are they happy to maybe take a step back from making some of the highlight plays if CJ is going to be able to do it up the front?
Not at all. I don't think CJ is that player. I think he's just a solid all-around, box-to-box, does whatever you need. But Siki is going to pop off, I'm hoping. That's their key man. I mean, he was the top striker as well as the MVP, and they won. So, I mean, he has got to pop off again if they want to keep their place at the top.
All right, well, Renegade's going to be looking for the 3-0 here against Mindfreak. While Mindfreak, I mean, are we going to call, say, maybe a technical, not technical, but maybe a in theory victory for them if they can take a map or 2 off here, off of the Renegades?
Yeah, mentality-wise, that'd be fantastic. If you take down even take a couple games off the Renegades, then going into the next week's teams will be scared of you. They'll be like, okay, we don't truly know the power. They were up against a team that is looking dominant, I mean, with the players they got. So if they can kind of bring it to them, then other teams will be scared of them for sure.
Okay, well, it's going to be a rough matchup for them regardless, so definitely keep an eye on them. I mean, Requiem is the player that we're going to be looking out for, and perhaps how he fits into this team could spell exactly how well this team can do against the Renegades. And maybe it even gives us a bit of an opportunity, even if they don't win, a bit of an opportunity to see how they might fare against some of the other teams in the pack.
Yeah, for sure. I think Ghost is also a good player, so it'd be interesting to see if those two players can work against it. I'm not sure about Fever's play style at all or where he fits into this team. We'll just have to find out when we start to see him play. I didn't catch them in the qualifiers, sadly, so I have no idea how this team's going to come together, but if the parts come together, it could be a team that is looking for a top 4 place.
Yeah, I mean, they got a pretty solid qualification, so it went pretty well, but let's forget that because that was a few weeks ago. Let's get into the game right now as it kicks off Renegades versus Mindfreak, and already a very strong kickoff from the Renegades.
Yeah, and there's CJ keeping the possession for his team, but oh no, Sicky's been chipped here, and that's it. Fever, straight away, 10 seconds, gets his first goal ever in the league. And what an easy one it was just to chip it over there and from his own box.
I mean, Fever stepping it up for Mindfreak, but this is looking exactly like when we were saying, man, Cringe Society, best team ever, and then immediately they get scored against in 10 seconds. And this is exactly what happened here. Mindfreak scoring against Renegades, and that's got to feel great.
Yeah, for sure, but kickoff goals have always been a weakness, I'd say, for a lot of teams in this league, and to see a team like Renegades concede a kickoff goal so easy as that, trying to keep the pressure on is just, it sparks my doubts a little bit, but we'll have to see. It was only 10 seconds in.
I'm also real interested to see how these 50-50s go and how aggressive both teams are going to be doing them. Already you can see CJ in particular is definitely going for a lot of these plays, and Army they're actually trying to fake them out, but is called out on it. And Fever just rams the ball right into the Renegades there. So they take it off them and they move it up the field.
That was nice by CJ as well. Most players just would opt into that 50-50, try and win it, but just fakes him out and just takes the ball away himself. It was a smart play. That's what I want to see from him. It's just intelligent plays, not overexerting himself or putting too much into the game. He doesn't have to. He just needs to beat out a few players and lay it off to Sicky and Kami, who are star players that can pull out anything.
Yeah, and in fact, all the Renegades right now playing very slowly and methodically. Now bouncing around in front of the net here. They could have found the moment there, but there is Fever on Mindfreak pushing it forward, and he's looking to set it up, but unfortunately it's stolen away. Requiem going for the block, but he gets demoed.
What a demo that was, and the waterfall down, but CJ just misses it, expects the save, but Kami's there to clean it up, as he always is. And there it is, 1-1. Only took a minute and a half to find their goal.
Yeah, well, I mean, after that demo, right, it should have been an easy enough one to set up. If not for the next player to arrive, certainly the third one. So very well put in goal there by the Renegades here to even things up, and I think it shows very good signs of them to come.
Definitely, and all players of the Renegades opting for the best car, the Octane. I am putting my foot down, it is. So this is why they're coming back, and I expect them to win. I mean, here we go. We see them start to get the possession like they like to do. They like to keep it in the opposition's half, but good passing play coming out from Mindfreak there. And wow, there it is. They're back in the lead.
Yeah, that was a fantastic pass. I mean, he just sees his moment, sends it right across the field. I mean, he's already in position, already talking to his team, and finds an easy goal there. Mindfreak doing spectacularly so far against Renegades.
It's good to see. I mean, good signs of life coming out from Mindfreak here. We wanted to see if Ghost and Requiem could link up. Both great offensive players and can kind of pick up passes and shots from anywhere. So that's a bit of a teaser for us for maybe this season.
Yeah, and Mindfreak going for a lot of these 50-50s and winning them, which is really important here. And see if they can get another one. There's, I don't know if you can call that a win, but it's certainly not a loss. And they move it up the field here and looking to set it up off the backboard. Can it be blocked? Out by the Renegades. It goes for a shot. There's the save, but the second shot's there, and Ghost puts it in for the third goal for Mindfreak.
Yeah, not the way anyone would have predicted the series to go, but just a missed clearance there from Kami. CJ does get the save, but because he's going backwards, couldn't quite get enough power on it to tip it away. Just leaves it in front of the net. And there it is, 3-1 Mindfreak. No one would have called this.
Mindfreak working super well as a team, right? All their rotations and their strikes are looking great. And I thought maybe after the kickoff goal, that might have been a bit of a fluke. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I think right now they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of whiffs coming out from Renegades as well, giving a lot of space for Mindfreak to kind of play the way they want. We do see an offense coming out from Sicky there. Tries to keep it up in the corner and let his teammates rotate up, but does get dispossessed. Passes it down to CJ, who gets dispossessed as well. Ghost is up there. Couldn't quite find it before Kami did.
Yeah, no third member in position for Chiefs there, for Renegades there to send it in. Sorry, this is blue team, that's why. But Requiem will move it up. Can he find it past the Renegades, who are already in position? So 2 goals up with only 2 minutes to go. Mindfreak could look to display a lot more defense.
And for me, Fever's just slotted into this team so well that I can't see any nerves, no real misplays from him. Does lose that 50-50 there, but his teammate's there to clean it up. So, I mean, no loss really there. Picks up the boost and snuffs that away from Renegades, and now the pressure's back on into this blue half.
Yeah, and Mindfreak, they're happy to just keep the attack rolling, happy to, every time it goes to their side of the field, just biff it back over to Renegade's side and just run that clock down, because it's going to be super annoying to get 2 goals and just a good save there coming out from Ghost.
Great save, actually. Yeah, I thought that shot was in. I didn't think he had the boost to get to it, but manages to find it, pinch it off the crossbar and get it away as he drives it all the way up the field in the air. Does get dispossessed, and Siki now doing the opposite on the ground.
Yeah, and a good little bump coming out from Ghost just to round things out, stops the attack from the Renegades in their tracks, which is exactly what Mindfreak want to be doing right now. Just slow them down 1 minute. You can buy enough time, but CJ sends it through the sky, but that's way too far away to get it past the goalies.
I would still say possession, Renegades, but with that miss from Kami, could open up some space for Mindfreak here. If they get a 4th, this game's gone to bed. That's the game 1 for them, but still the pressure's on, 40 seconds. If any team could switch it on and score 2 goals, it is Renegades.
Yeah, and wow, Mindfreak though, what a performance so far. If they can find this 4th one, that'd be great, but Renegades, they're so slow and methodical, but they don't have the time to do that right now. And so, I mean, Mindfreak are happy to have this happen. And in fact, going in for steals, right? Even if the shot doesn't go in, doesn't matter. You're running down the clock. Ghost, he's going to fight for it.
Yeah, CJ not collecting the ball there like he thought he was, but Kami doing enough to get it out. Can he retrieve it up here in the corner? He does. Couldn't quite find the pass as Requiem was hiding behind the post to snap it away. Siki with the pass. It's looking like it's going to end 3-1 unless they get a nice little consolation goal, which could come out here, but nope, there it is. Mindfreak take game 1, 3-1.
And what can we say about that? I mean, right now, Requiem, Ghost, and Fever, like you said, Fever slotting into the team super well. Requiem and Ghost also working super well together as 2 players that know each other. Renegades, though, I mean, their attacks looked okay. Okay is probably the best I could say.
Yeah,
for it.
that's nice.
The thing is, for Mindfreak, they just looked great.
Yeah, Mindfreak were just keeping it in Renegade's half, which is not where they want to play. They want to keep it in Mindfreak's half and just starve out those boosts. You know, we've seen it all. We talked about it last season. Everyone knows. But yeah, I would say Siki just hasn't really shown up in this series. Hasn't shown up in that game at least. He could pop off soon. Usually when I say that, people do, so I'm not going to count him out just yet. CJ did kind of slot in. I don't think it was his fault at all. I think just the whole team felt slow.
Slow, yeah, I think that's exactly what I wanted to say, is that they're just giving Mindfreak so much time to do whatever they want. And, you know, sure, don't rush into plays, don't do anything crazy, but maybe go a little bit faster. Otherwise, your opponents are just going to have plenty of time to go for all these 50-50s. And as we can see in those games, in this game, that Mindfreak have been winning tons of 50-50s.
Yeah, I couldn't even call it whether Mindfreak's just rotating well or Renegades are just giving them so much time to get around
I think it's both.
the other side of the field. Yeah, and it's just making it so that when Mindfreak's on the attack, they're just constantly keeping in that half, keeping the pressure on, and then when they have to get on the defense, Renegades are just too slow.
Yeah, so we'll be waiting to get into game number 2 here, because I'm keen to see if maybe this is a bit of a fluke coming out from either Mindfreak or Renegades, one team playing a bit better or worse than they usually do. But that said, I mean, I can't say that Mindfreak's play looked inconsistent. It looked like they could continue doing this for the next few games.
Definitely, it wasn't just like a turtle and get a counter-attack goal. It was them actually playing the Ghost and Requiem linking up multiple times. Fever even getting the counter-attacking goal there, just seeing the space and hitting it into it. So yeah, great play from them, just so composed in their first match. Fever, for me, has just slotted in. I'd have to say Ghost is playing the best, but Fever's just, you know, he's there, he's not making any mistakes, he's being solid.
Yeah, I mean, just looks like a solid teammate who's been on the lineup for a long time, despite joining pretty recently. So, yeah, Mindfreak, again, just looking great. Renegades, though, I think we nailed it before. They're just very slow right now, and
which is not like them. Last season they were probably the fastest team. They were in control of the corner boost constantly, either side of the field. You weren't able to play against them, so it's strange to see them give so much space to their opponent.
Yeah, and maybe we're not seeing so much of the Renegades corner boost stealing style because they're just not that far forward very much. Maybe if they get some attacks rolling, we might see it. But for now, it seems like it goes to their side of the field, they catch it, they take a bit of time to send it down the field, passing maybe here and there, trying to go for some fake outs. But at the end of the day, like we said, it's just giving Mindfreak a whole lot of time.
And for me, CJ needs to get back to his demolition ways. We saw it near the end of last season where he would pass off the ball and then immediately go for the keeper. We haven't seen too much today. He's being a bit more conservative, I would say is a good word, but need to see him kind of pop off and get that aggression that Renegades likes to play.
Well, it's already a better start for the Renegades than it was in game number 1 with no sort of kickoff goal from Mindfreak. But Mindfreak keeping on the attack here. Let's see if Renegades can speed up their attack here. But Mindfreak is still going for these contests. In fact, 2 members actually pretty far forward, so they'll have to rush back if they want to defend.
Good win from Ghost there, though.
Awkward.
Gives a lot of space. Siki does have to use everything he's got to get back to that. Gives a bit of space for Mindfreak to kind of collect it there. Requiem just gets away from them and gives it back to Renegades. I was going to say Chiefs because they're blue and
Yeah,
CJ's
I did that. I did that before as well. It's rough, man. Renegades should always be orange. But anyway, they are blue this time, and they are finally getting an attack rolling. This may be where they get a goal on the field here, but Mindfreak's defense hasn't been shaky either, so they are able to keep these saves going and shut Renegades out.
Yeah, and look at what I would call the communication coming out from Mindfreak there. Fever, a rookie, could have easily just panicked and gone for that, but trusts in his teammate who's on the back ball, knowing that he's going to get the clearance and just puts himself in a position to collect it afterwards.
Yeah, and slow setups in front of the goal. Mindfreak happy to just move this one out. Let's see if they go for this contest, the 2v1. And he does manage to steal it away, Fever, right in front of the net. Looking for a teammate to send it all over. All 3 members of Mindfreak very far forward, looking for a quick rotate back if they need the defense. And it looks like they'll have just exactly that.
I'm not sure if that was good from Requiem or bad. I mean, he put it away from the defenders, but also took it away from his own player who's come for the shot. But either way, they didn't concede from it, so I guess I can't call it bad.
Okay, clear over into the corner to his teammates. Ghost is going to push it forward. Trying to get past 2 defenders here for the Renegades. Doesn't have a teammate to back him up just yet, but they do steal away the boost. So Renegades going to be running a bit dry for a little while on this defense, but they do manage to clear it away to save from the goal.
Just keep an eye on how far back Renegades are actually playing. Whenever one player's up, the other 2 are behind halfway, even further than that. Just trying to collect themselves, collect some boost maybe, and it's not Renegades like we know them.
No, but they are still stealing boosts whenever they are past halfway. You can see CJ sneaking in, so CJ's certainly fitting into that style pretty well, but a shot comes out from the Renegades. It's saved. They're going to have to take a few more than that to get this into the net and get the first point on the board.
Yeah, but CJ's pass goes a little too far back from Siki, so he couldn't quite get anything on it. Ghost's shot, snuffed out by Kami, but tries to regain it in the corner. Doesn't do so. Fever keeping the possession, but hands it straight back to Renegades.
Yeah, but they can continue here. All 3 members actually looking pretty far forward right now, moving it across the side of the field, but this could be Renegades' ball here, bouncing around in front of the net, just a little wide, and that's going to be a clear from Mindfreak to keep it alive.
Needed to get a goal there, Renegades. I mean, they were handed the ball in their own half. CJ with the fake, sorry. Didn't quite get the second shot there. But they've still got this attack going. The pressure's starting to mount. We're starting to see Renegades how we like them, but there it is. A good big clearance coming out from Requiem. The shot back on, and they're back in defense. CJ just sits there and taps it in.
Yeah, and that was a long attack from Renegades, and finally, that's what we wanted to see coming out from them. If they can continue to do this, it took a while though.
That little bump as well. CJ was on his way back and then managed to bump the defender and turn around and was like, oh, the ball's here, I'll tuck it in.
You know what? Why not? Why not? That's a secure.
Yeah, for sure. And then there it is, the 1-goal lead for Renegades. Taking it to Mindfreak, but Mindfreak's still playing well, still having the offense when they can, but Renegades starting to strangle them a little bit in their own half.
Yeah, well, Mindfreak did have a pretty solid win in game number 1, although there's only 1 minute 30 to go. CJ could find something, but we haven't seen him go for anything crazy so far. Renegades, though, looking for a slow attack, but every time they find a moment, someone like Requiem will just come in and push it right back to the blue side.
And a lot of the games against Renegades comes down to how you play it out from your back. If you just try and clear it and collect it up past halfway, then they just bring it back to you every time. They don't like you doing that. The only way to get out of it is to either dribble and beat a player or pass it out. And yeah, Mindfreak just not really doing it this game. We saw it in game 1, but Renegades just keeping the pressure on.
Yeah, and they're keeping the ball up right now, and they're looking for another shot, but so many clears coming out from Mindfreak. It keeps going back into the hands of the Renegades, so they can keep their attack going, but Mindfreak is staying very defensive on this boost, although CJ snuck in and stole one, the little thief, but he does manage to keep it in front of the net, but Mindfreak still keep it out.
It's just keeping the pressure on here. Kami will collect this and knock it back up. CJ didn't turn around from it, but just gets into position behind Kami there, so if he gets beat, he can collect it. There it is, Siki waiting for it. Doesn't quite get the save as Fever comes from the inside of the net, went right around the loop and came out and knocked it away. As the attack now mounting from Mindfreak, 13 seconds left. Can we see an overtime? It's looking like Renegades will snuff it up.
Yeah, if Renegades can just push it forward, and with that demo, that should surely secure it right now. Mindfreak could rush forward, could keep it up in the air. Renegades are going to want to just smash it into the ground, and that's exactly what they do. A little close for comfort there, but Renegades just looking a little bit better.
Tidy little win from Renegades. Not the most dominant showing, but I mean, kept it clean at the back, and there's not too many shots coming out from Mindfreak as well, so definitely strangled them out of this game. So now we just need to see those shots come on, those goals come through, and then it'll start to look like that Renegade that we know.
Yeah, and it's real interesting when you watch Renegades, right? When it goes all the way to the back to their side of the field, that's where they're playing slow. They're passing the ball, taking their time, going for even a few fakes. But once it gets past that halfway mark, at least in game number 2, that's where things got crazy. They're pushing people around, they're stealing the boost, and they're passing quickly. So it's almost like a complete paradigm shift as soon as they get on the attack.
For sure, I'd love to see a stat of how many seconds they spend with the ball in the opponent's half, because it's just always there. They always have control of it. It's just shot after shot. And then finally they break it down so much with a few bumps and demos to get that clean shot. I mean, CJ had an open net. That's how much they worked them down.
Yeah, and it worked out for them. Barely. I mean, there's only one goal ahead. And we're still going all the way back to what we said beforehand. I mean, you said for Renegades to truly make this a win, it's got to be a 3-0. I mean, of course, they'll still get the points regardless if they win the series, but it's really says something that Mindfreak have taken even one game against Renegades, and it's still looking even in game number 2.
For sure, Renegades need to switch it on if they want to show that they are the true #1 in this league. They are the defending champions, so need to switch it on. But a kickoff goal does come through as Kami couldn't quite keep it out the net. Requiem just puts it straight down the middle.
I mean, I almost saw it going as well. It's just, it feels so bad as the Renegades. And yeah, it's just one goal out of nowhere, but I mean, one goal was the difference in game number 2.
Yeah, and I did like the celebration from Mindfreak, a little low 5 coming out at the end too, smacking into each other. I mean, I love celebrations because it kind of strikes a bit of defeat into the other players when you do concede a goal. It helps with the mentality as well.
It helps your own mentality as well. I mean, if you're like your team, you know, you've been practicing with these guys for ages, and suddenly you're up against the returning champion, and you get something like that. Hell yeah, you're going to get a bit of a high five.
And here we go. Ghost with a bit of space, does put the shot on, but Siki in net. Pretty comfortable save. It was a bit low. I thought it was going to go top corner. CJ now trying to get it out of his own half. Does fake out the player from Mindfreak there. And now they're starting to get their own attack going, but need to get it out of their own half first.
Yeah, well, now they finally pushed it out, and this is where the play usually starts to speed up for the Renegades. Mindfreak have already taken their own boost, though, so that's not going to be stolen away. So now they get to push it up and essentially shut down the Renegades' attack.
Yeah, Fever here trying to pass it off the wall, but Siki just reading him like a book. Now he has time to take it up, tries to get the pass over to Kami, but gets it intercepted in mid-half. CJ knocking it out into the corner now. Not usually how we like to see them play. We like to see them pass it out, dribble it out, so maybe a bit of panic coming through from Renegades.
Yeah, and Mindfreak were already in position for the defense very quickly as well. Requiem, he's got 0 boost. What can he pull out here? Unfortunately, not quite much at all. And so CJ will get the ball, but it's actually taken away from him as Mindfreak push it forward. Looking for a shot. Can Siki steal it away? He clears it off to the side. Is it going to be enough?
Good composure from Siki there, not to spend himself too early, just wait for the right time and then put himself in for that 50. Wins it cleanly. Shot coming on, but Requiem's just sitting right in there, hiding a little bit in the orange half.
Yeah, well, Requiem all that was needed for that defense, and it feels like Renegades, their attack, it's been shut down in this game here so far, but there's still 3 minutes to go. And so this is another attack that's starting to roll. CJ doesn't get the ball there, which means now all members of Mindfreak rushing forward and getting the next goal in.
And there it is, Fever with another goal from about halfway. CJ just missing it and leaving the ball and his net open. Yeah, not the best whiff from CJ there, and pays the price.
That's a hefty price as well. A 2-goal lead is just such a comfort to have in Rocket League, because now all Mindfreak to have to do just keep lobbing it over to the blue side. And we know how slow the Renegades play. They waste so much time when it's in their side of the field. Let's see if they change that, but Mindfreak, they can also look to get a 3rd goal, which would very much secure their chances of a win.
Yeah, I'd like to see them not just sit and turtle on defense, because that's going to give a lot of space for Renegades. If they can keep it in their half, actually, I think that's the best way to strangle out Renegades. They don't like it there at all.
Not at all. And so now with Renegades pushing forward, that's a strong strike, and Siki finds the goal.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward one for Ghost there, trying to get the clearance. It does roll down the nip of the wall there and just lands in Siki's feet, who just knocks it with a good angle too. Not an easy shot, but puts it away and halves the lead for Renegades there.
And now it makes it so much more reasonable to even things up now. 1 goal just feels so much easier to get into. So Renegades, again, onto the attack, pushing it forward. Can they find anything on this side of the field here? Kami's going to rush back. CJ is waiting for Kami to push it over to him. Will it be Ghost that gets it past all of the members of the Renegades? He sends it up to the side, where his teammates to shoot it in.
Yeah, good little clearance from CJ there, not to just knock it up the wall, but instead passes it to his teammate. Pretty much gives this whole attack for free, just off of knocking it to his teammate instead of being selfish. Yeah,
Mindfreak are playing a lot more defensively right now. It's probably because they're 1 goal up. If they can hold that lead, then they can win the game. So they're usually sending 2 people back for defense a lot earlier than when they would usually just send 1. So it will normally pay off, but Renegades are trying to find something here, and they're the team that does have to start making something happen.
Yeah, we can see here Kami keeping the attack on, keeping the pressure. CJ's up for this. Can he get the double touch? Does find it, passes it down. Doesn't go in the net though. Fever there, the rookie, keeping it up and keeps the lead.
And that could very much secure the game right now for Mindfreak, especially if they can turn this into a goal right now. Requiem through the air, he's got the boost, but he can't get it past the defenders. That's still in their field though. They can still keep going with an attack. They've got to be careful to not let Renegades just counterattack though.
Yeah, they need to keep it in Renegade's half. We see CJ coming up here, gets a good ball. That'll land dangerously in the middle, but Requiem's there to clean it up. Can they get it out of their half, though? Kami keeping it there, saying no. Fever finally gets the clearance, but CJ's back to clean that up as well.
So back and forth, but Mindfreak still 1 goal ahead, less than a minute to go now. All 3 members of the Renegades very far forward right now, trying to find one. That's a demo, means they've got a better chance of getting the goal, but that's a great 50-50 coming up from Mindfreak, who clears it away.
Siki with the flip, though, does get the shot on, the ceiling shot, but gets saved from Ghost. Not too hard to save that one there, but keeping the pressure on, and it's only 1 goal, but 20 seconds left on the clock. Can they do it?
Renegades and the fans sweating right now, as Mindfreak could be looking to go on to 2 wins and match points if they can just hold out for 10 seconds and launch that ball into the ground. Siki moving it up. Can Renegades get it in? They're looking for another shot, but so much disruption coming out from Mindfreak, who move it forward, give it to the ground. Mindfreak take it to game number 2 as a win.
Yeah, Fever almost getting another goal there as well at the end. If there was 1 more second, he would have got it, but 2-1, maybe 3-1 if you count that. But I mean, another one, dominant performance from them as well. I feel like they dictated the game. There was parts where Renegades felt in it, and they were going to score. There was that one that was only saved while it was halfway in the net. So yeah, great play from them, but Renegades are not out of this at all.
Yeah, a few whiffs coming out from them though. I mean, specifically CJ, I mean, just not getting high enough for the ball a few times, just completely missing it and leaving a completely open goal. And I feel like those are mistakes that a team like Renegades just can't make.
Especially with the way they play. I mean, if you're wanting to have all 3 players up in the opponent's half and strangle them in their own defense, then you can't be making those whiffs because it just leaves you wide open. There's not a 4th player back there.
Yeah, and look, it's really working out for Mindfreak though. Let's talk about these guys because, I mean, they're just working super well as a unit right now. I like the new additions to the roster. It's really working like a well-oiled machine right now. It doesn't look like there's any miscommunication at all. There's no double ups on going for the balls. They're going for 50-50s and working them out. And the passes are working out spectacularly. So Mindfreak right now are looking to just not quite crush Renegades, but really step up to their level and go even a little bit beyond.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think Mindfreak are looking like a very strong team, and it's great to see, especially with a rookie in their roster, that they can start off so strong. I mean, there's just no panic coming out from them. Fever's slotted in so well, and they're just taking it to the Renegades. They're not letting them dictate the style of play at all.
Wow, Mindfreak even trying to go for a few fakes here, but Renegades aren't going to be falling for that one. But it's still sitting near their goal as we are here in game number 4 with Mindfreak on match point against the Renegades.
Yeah, that's not the technical issue. That is actually what's happening in this game.
Yeah, just think about what I said there, which is not something that you would expect to hear before this week, but Mindfreak just proving all the haters wrong.
But what's crazy is it feels like Renegades are only really getting goals when they resort to demos and bumps and that sort of aggression. They're not fully breaking down this Mindfreak's defense.
Yeah, the shots are certainly not hitting their mark at all. And I've got to give it to Mindfreak for a lot of these 50-50 wins. It's just seriously hampering a lot of Renegades' attack and also making it so that these shots are going to be so much easier to take.
Ghost almost got the luckiest goal, which probably would have been in the season. Almost finds the top of the net there with a 50-50 dunk, but doesn't quite get the luck of it, and we stay goalless in game number 4.
All right, clears it right over to Kami, who sends it over to Siki, and then almost gets it for Siki to send it right in. Sorry, I got one of the players wrong. But regardless, though, Renegades don't quite get that attack in. Fever sends it over, and we're just looking for Mindfreak to get one more goal in here, as they're just going to stop Renegades moving forward.
Fever with a bit of a miss that gave up the pressure from Mindfreak there and gave the ball back to Renegades, but didn't quite result in a goal. Was in a dangerous area, but Renegades just again rotating too far back and being too slow to the play.
Oh, good patient play coming out there from Mindfreak. Could get the ball forward a little bit, moving in front of the goal, but it is disrupted, bumped away, which means Mindfreak are going to have to rush back for this defense here. They can save it, and CJ's even going to get pushed around a little bit.
Yeah, a bit of pressure coming on now from the Renegades. Mindfreak scrambling a little bit, but nothing too serious coming out just yet, as we see 50-50s constantly in this midfield. Neither team taking possession for a good long period of time. Siki in the corner, though, trying to do so. Fever wins it twice, knocks it up the field, and gives a bit of time for his team to chase after him.
Yeah, well, they don't win that 50-50, which would have been great for the attack, but they do win that one. However, Renegades are still going to try and push it forward anyway, so they still hold possession, and Mindfreak may have to hunker down for a bit of a defense here.
Both players there opting out of the challenge, so the ball just stayed where it was, and CJ had to just panically flip at it, trying to get it cleared, but doesn't quite do so. CJ with the shot, though. Fever wins the 50-50. Good little pressure coming out from Renegades, and let's see if they can keep this offense going. Does win that 50-50. Kami just knocks it in the midfield and gives up possession.
And we're still sitting here without a goal on the board right now. And this is crazy how close this series, and let alone the Mindfreak is on match point. So if they can finally find one goal in here, that could seal the entire series. Renegades are just looking to clear it. They're not looking to pass it so often throughout a lot of these saves.
Yeah, and it's looking like Renegades are opting for bumps and demos anywhere on the field, not even on the attack. We see we see 2 coming out there, and it leaves it open. Kami just whiffs the shot, though. Should have put that in, should have put Renegades in the lead, but we stay goalless with 1:30 left on the clock. One goal could seal this game.
Yeah, and while it's tied, Renegades still can't afford for that to happen. Another demo comes out, and the ball bouncing around very close to the Mindfreak net, but it is cleared very far from Mindfreak, so they will keep it safe once more as they push it again. A good demo onto Kami means that Mindfreak has some time, and look at Ghost. He can do some magical things, but he doesn't quite have a lot of boost, so won't find too much, but this is the Mindfreak attack.
A bit of a misplay from Ghost there. Used his flip too early and went past the ball, and then had to use all his boost to get back, so just gives up possession. Could have been something for them with the demos coming through. Both teams resorting to a minute left, under a minute left, sorry. Neither team scored.
And you do not want the ball bouncing around right in front of your net if you are either team right now. The next team to score a goal could very much win the game, and if you're Mindfreak, win the series. And so moving it towards the goal, they've got a good attack going. If they can win this 50, that could have been great, but Renegades push it past them and look to strike. This could be a good strike onto the goal. Is there another attack? There's not.
Wow, this is turning into a game. Smite. We can see both teams having shots and great epic saves coming out, last minute saves. keeping this game scoreless. Could see it 0-0 overtime, which would be interesting. I mean, this is Renegades trying to fight to stay in this series, let alone win it.
And that is, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're saying that sentence, but 3 seconds to go. So close for either team, but we're going to overtime in potentially the last game of the day.
One goal could mean that Mindfreak take a big upset win against Renegades. A 3-1 would be quite a showing in week 1.
Not to mention the implications on the ladder as well. You're beating a team that you're not technically meant to beat, which means when you go to the matches that are actually going to have to contest, suddenly you have that advantage over them if they lost to Renegades. So that said, they still have to get the win here.
No way, Requiem's won it.
A way to do it.
What a 50-50 from Requiem. You see all players from Renegades pushed up. Kami just couldn't quite get it over him, and he stopped moving. He knew it was in, and that's it. Mindfreak have taken down Renegades in week 1 of league play.
Holy crap. That's all I've got to say to that. I mean, I was here for the whole series, and I almost still don't believe it, but what a cool way to end it.
Yeah, and I said at the start of the series that if they were going to take some games or win the series, then they all need to play well, and that's what they did. I don't know who I could give an MVP to. They all play well. Can we give it to the whole team?
I mean, I kind of want to give it to the whole team. I mean, I feel like we're getting told that we do have to select one player. I think if I have to edge someone out, maybe Ghost from game number 1.
Yeah, I think Ghost in the first 3 games, maybe not in that last one as much, but yeah, I agree. Maybe one step above the others and setting up everything. So
yeah, and even then, it's almost because he was supported so well by his team, he was able to flourish very well. So MVP to Ghost, but that said, super close, and we'd love to give it to the whole team there. Mindfreak, you know, if you're listening, you exceeded expectations, and you did fantastically for you and your fans.
Bravo,
so,
bravo.
There it is, Ghost MVP and Mindfreak taking the win against the returning champions, the Renegades.
And what a way to end the day. I mean, we had some upsets last season, but this is a good way to start off Season 9.
We don't even have to wait for the upsets. Last year, we had to wait until week 2 for Max's Rancid Rats to get the upset. Sorry, the Canberra Havoc or, you know, their
Ninjas.
Yeah, that's what it was, the Attack of the Invisible Ninja back then. But this week, we get it right at the end of the game. 3-1 as well. It's not like it was a close series.
Even game 1 was 3-1 as well.
Yes.
So, like, they took it to the Renegades. They didn't just quite scrape out a win. They showed a very dominant showing, and against a team that everyone was putting top C. So, yeah, props to them. Could see this team climb up the rankings, maybe make it to LAN if they keep this up.
Yeah, so all in all, over the matches we've had today, these results have been some expected, but I mean, clearly after this one, some pretty unexpected, right, with that Mindfreak win. So, you know what? I mean, I can't believe it, right? I mean, are we able to take a look at some of the results? Because some of these have been pretty fantastic. Yeah,
they have been. I think the most surprising thing for me was no game 5s. I thought a lot of these teams are evenly matched. The first 3 games, for sure, I would have called game 5s, but none of them ending up that way. And then even the last match, I would not have called it that way at all. So crazy day of Rocket League. It has been fun, though, for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Now, of course, our MVP for the entire week, of course, out of all of the matches today.
I think it's going to be pretty obvious with that upset win at the end.
Yeah, I mean, again, I wish I could give it to the whole team of Mindfreak, but again, we'll probably just have to hand it over to Ghost. But in essence, this is an MVP for the entire team.
All I'm saying is he got it first. He got MVP first week last season, so he's keeping up his form from then.
I mean, should we maybe touch on some of the other potential MVPs? I mean, Spido certainly played a major performance in his match earlier today. Is he perhaps a contender for MVP of the whole week?
Definitely a contender, yeah. He was the strongest man for that Cringe Society team that everyone was hyping up, but I think because no one expected Mindfreak to really step up that much, it's got to go to them, maybe just taking it over, even though I think maybe Spidoge played a bit better in terms of his mechanics and his strength, but yeah, I've got to give it to Ghost. What an exceptional performance from the whole team.
Yeah, and there it is. So it will be Ghost as the MVP of the week in a spectacular upset win as well, along with the rest of his team. And Mindfreak, they're going to shoot up the ladder for this. They're technically top 4 now. And so Ghost, a big part of that as well. And he was a fantastic player last year. And like you said, MVP in week number 1 as well. So I'm really excited to see what Ghost will pull out over the next few weeks.
Yeah, Ghost being in a last place team last season still managed to get some amazing stats. Like his goals per game were up there with Renegades as well. So I want to see this team do well because I want to see that man pop off, maybe win some of those accolades.
Yeah, so what a fantastic result for him. He'll be stoked with that, not only getting the upset, but also picking up that MVP of the week and the game. So there it is. That's all of the games for today. But let's take a look at what we're going to be seeing next week because, of course, we've got some fantastic matches coming up. Then we'll be opening up with Canberra Havoc versus Renegades, who will want to come back and absolutely smash a win. Then we'll have Mindfreak versus Overt, which some people might have called an even match, but now maybe not so sure. Then we'll have Max's Rancid Rats, which is actually Team Esper, taking on Ground Zero. And then to round things off, we'll have Fury taking on Cringe Society. And that one could be pretty interesting as well because Cringe Society was still waiting to see their potential.
For sure, and I mean, Fury had Amphis who was popping off as well, so it'd be good to see that match. I think all of them are quite close. Maybe the Havoc Renegades is probably the least close one as a repeat of the final, but I
that's
mean,
what we thought
with
about
how
this
we saw,
match.
how we saw Renegades just play, it could be close as well. I mean, I can't call any of these matches now.
Yeah, well, Renegades are a team that would take a loss like that and then come back super strong the next week. It's what happened last year after their first loss. So
Their only loss, actually.
Yeah, their only loss during the, in fact, the whole season, right? So there it is, guys. Week number 1. And of course, maybe it took a little bit longer than we wanted it to, but we had some great matches, and especially that last one if you are a Mindfreak fan. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic week number 1, and I am super excited to see you guys next week at the same time.
Was